It's a beginning of a new era, first of its kind.
Riders' anticipation, they are ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Seat Indian Supercross Racing League.
The first ever winner in the history of the Seat Indian Supercross Racing League. Double for Big Rock Motorsport, Tanarad Benchard, your winner. No rookie anymore, it is time to celebrate. What a massive end-for-end crash there. Subaru's hands dropped it from the lead. What, it takes you literally running over him. No love lost between the two Frenchmen. Is this the pass, mate? It is. This will be annoying.
After the historic round one of the world's first franchise-based Supercross Racing League, we're all set in Ahmedabad for another thrilling spectacle as some of the finest riders from across the world are set to push the limits of their skills with their machines. They are ready for a show like never before. This is round two of Seat Indian Supercross Racing League, ladies and gentlemen, and all the roads are leading to Transstadia Stadium here in Ahmedabad today. It's a carnival. There is entertainment, there is anticipation, there is excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome as we're all eagerly waiting for round two of Seat Indian Supercross Racing League, and I'm in the fine company of an 11-time motocross and Supercross Australian champion, Lee Hogan. Lee, if round one is anything to go by, round two promises to be even more challenging, even more tough, and full of adrenaline, isn't it?
Absolutely. Round one in Pune, well, we set the benchmark very high. But here, the stadium, the fans, the noise, it's spectacular. I can't wait to get racing underway.
Well, races will come thick and fast. Let's remind our viewers about the categories involved here. Of course, there are three categories where the races will be raced. 450cc international category, a big boys race. 250cc international will come fast and pacey, and 250cc Asia, where Indian riders will be looking out for them. But of course, the all-stars race, ladies and gentlemen, players and riders from different categories will be racing it out, fighting it out for their team. Now let's take a look at the leaderboard here. Big Rock Motorsports with 213 points, 60-point lead difference here. Lee, how big a lead is that for Big Rock?
Well, this is what it's all about, the franchise-based setup, the world's first ever franchise-based Supercross League. It's so exciting. Big Rock, as you said, have a 60-point lead over second place BB Racing. Mahite is back there in third. SG Speed Racers, they're trying their best to get up into the top three.
Right, let's talk about Big Rock, this team that is leading the leaderboard here. This team is full of superstars, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've got 4 out of their 6 riders that got up on the podium, and 2 of them, well, they managed to win their classes, of course, in the form of Reed Taylor and Thanarad Panjan.
Well, every rider from every category is coming up and doing the job. Now let's talk about the overtakes that we've seen in round one. There has been so much finesse and amazing passes made by the riders.
Lots of passes, lots of aggression, and that's what we like to see there out on the Supercross track. And we can see here so much bar bashing going on. Hugo Manzardo here having an awesome battle here And that's what Supercross is about. We love it.
Right, but in one of the categories, 250cc International, Reed Taylor is a player that has stood out for his team. Now, he's been absolutely fantastic, got his first international win. That boy is special.
It sure was. We like to think of Reed Taylor. He was a rookie last year, without a doubt, that's for sure. But he's kind of racing almost like a seasoned veteran now. The kid from Australia, he's riding for Empire Kawasaki back in Australia, but Big Rock here, and wow, they know what they're doing.
Right, let's take a look at the leaderboard here. Reed Taylor taking full 40 points for his team. But there was an amazing battle with Manzato and Labao as well. But I'd also like to see a lot of other players from Gujarat Trailers, from SG, from Rice to come up and do the job for their team. We'll be rooting for them because they're just not here racing it for themselves, but they're also racing it for the teams that they're representing, isn't it, Lee?
Yeah, that's correct. And that's the beauty of this league, is it's not just about the individual races and their classes, it's also about the franchises. And it was such a beautiful thing to watch the auction system and how it went down.
Moving ahead to 250cc Asia category. Now that was full of drama, full of crashes as well. They had to restart the race there in that category.
Well, you could see from the drop of the gate of this India and Asia 250cc class that these guys meant business. It was their first chance to be able to get out there in front of a crowd like this. And there we see Whiskey Throttle off the back of the bike. We saw riders coming together, and an incident like this coming up a little bit short, knifing the front end and slapping down onto the ground. This class meant business.
But one player that stood out the most in that special category was Thanarat Penjan. He's been outstanding for his team. 2 wins out of 2. He spoke about in the post-race how consistency was key for him. How impressed were you with his performance?
I was extremely impressed with Thanarat Penjan out of Thailand. He obviously won both of his motos, but for me in particular, he was the one main rider that looked like he's done a lot of time on a Supercross track.
There was absolute Thai domination here with Thanarat, Atherson and Ben from Thailand. They have done so well for their teams. There was intense battle, but I'd also like to see Indian boys step up because Rugved right there in the 4th position has done well, but here Shlok will also have to come up. Jay, Janendra, they'll all have to come up and do the job, and we'll be all rooting for them. But you know what? My favorite category is the 450cc international category, the big boys race, where one player has definitely stood out, and it is Jordi Tixier.
Well, Jordi Tixier riding for BB Racing on the Honda 450. We like to call him the King of Pune because that's exactly what he managed to do. But it wasn't without quite a few battles along the way, as him and fellow Frenchman Cedric Suberos, they battled bars, they smashed plastic together. They did so much stuff out there on the track and provided a lot of action for the Pune crowd.
Absolutely. Now, there are some riders who are competitors, there are some riders who are winners, but there are some riders who set benchmarks. Would it be safe to say that Jordi Tixier is of that variety?
Look, I think so. I think they're both from the same country, but they're world-class riders, so they like to get together and bash it up.
Now, coming from the back and leading the race, Jordi Tixier has shown it all. How difficult is it when you don't have a good start and then you come ahead and beat the race? How difficult and how much mental strength does that require?
Oh, it's so tough to be able to get out there and be able to put your best foot forward and do as good as you can as we take a little bit of a look at the leaderboard here.
All right, then. We need to also have a look at the leaderboard. And of course, here there are so many players who need to do it. Let's head to the national anthem now.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
fans here, so much emotion. It's a carnival, ladies and gentlemen. This is round 2 of SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League, and this has been absolutely amazing. Right before the national anthem, we were talking about Jordi Tixier. Let's hear from him and get to know him a bit more.
Hello, my name is Jordi Tixier, number 911, riding for BB Racing Team.
Yeah, I'm on another level. It's time to rise, time to push it to the metal. Got the blood of a rebel, spill the blood of a...
It was a nice feeling. I really enjoyed the track over there. It was really slick, with a really hard ground. But actually, I got a good start in the first moto.
Jordi Tixier, he has rocketed out.
You can never stop me, nah. You can never copy. I got the light on me. Can you see me now?
This is the sport. Sometimes you're just in a good day, you really like the track. You know, it's not because I dominated the first round that I'm gonna dominate this weekend. So for me, just a new weekend, a new race, a new track. For me, Supercross, it's a small track, a rhythm section, nice jumps. The public is also really close from the riders, much more than on the motocross side. So this is what I really like, you know, the show around the race.
Race winner Jordi Tixier lights the candles here.
I feel like my passion is becoming my job, but we only see the good things from the outside. We see him standing on the podium, having the smile, winning races. You know, the injury, the tough time you can have during the week or in a weekend, the races which not goes good, and this, the people don't really see it. I'm a racer, I want to win. I'm racing to win, so for sure my goal is the same as the first round, trying to win and riding in front of there, but we never know what can happen.
You can't stop the pressure, nah.
You heard it from the king of Pune, but what do we have in store for you today? 7 races coming your way. 450 International, of course, over there. Every category will have 2 motos, ladies and gentlemen. A second chance for every rider to prove their mettle. 450cc International and 250cc International will have 6 minutes plus 2 laps. And 250cc Asia category will have 5 minutes and 2 laps to complete the race. But All Stars race, the dessert, that's the sweet part, will have 10 parts. 10 minutes and 2 laps to complete the race. Now in short time, there will be riders blazing through the dirt for all the action, but the track is completely new, different from what it was in Pune in round 1. So let's head straight to Lee and understand and get a track report from him.
The track here at Ahmedabad for round 2 of the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League is spectacular. It has it all. And it starts off with a start straight that is 70 metres long in comparison to just 18 metres that we saw at round 1 in Pune. And it goes into a tight first turn, which is a U-turn. It's going to provide plenty of passing opportunities and really good for the bigger 450 bikes. Now also, like we said, this track has everything. We've got rhythm sections, we've got a set of whoops, we've got a big triple jump, and we've got 2 back-to-back corners. Everything that this amazing crowd is going to expect, plus more. We find ourselves here on the most tight and technical part of the circuit where most of the passing opportunities are going to happen. Now, we've just landed off the biggest jump on the track, some 28 metres long is our big triple, and it takes us into a tight left-handed U-turn. But let's have a look at what we're confronted with now. The first of our whoop sections for the season. Now, we didn't get to have these whoops at round 1 in Pune, but we certainly do here at round 2 in Ahmedabad. As we come into a reasonably small first whoop that sets us up for have a look at the depth of this second whoop and into the third and the fourth. We've got a total of 8 whoops here and it's almost hip height. It's going to be really tricky and technical for these riders to try to get up on top and skim across the top of these.
Thank you, Lee. Well, we are minutes away from live action. It's a carnival here in Ahmedabad. It's a celebration of first of its kind. So get ready for some heart-pounding action as riders are ready to flirt with the dirt on round 2 of SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. Absolutely all roads are leading straight to Transstadia Stadium here in Ahmedabad. And this is a first of its kind. We also have the Honorable Chief Minister Shri Bhupendra Bhai Patel alongside us in the stadium. It's going to be a carnival, so get ready for a heart-pounding live action as we head to round 2 of SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League.
Welcome everyone to the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. Today we're here at the Arena Transstadia in Ahmedabad, where for this weekend the home of Indian football has been converted into a dirt paradise. We've seen tons and tons of freestyle motocross tricks, and soon we're going to get to see some incredible Supercross racing action. The races you're going to see today are as physical as a kabaddi match, as dangerous as a SWAT fight, and as nail-biting as a super over. Trust me folks, you can't miss this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome along. My name is Somal Arora, joined by racing royalty, multiple-time Australian and Supercross, motocross and Supercross champion Lee Hogan right here in the comms box. And Lee, the 450cc international riders. They are the fastest, most experienced one on the grid, and they are proper showstoppers, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. That's the pinnacle of our sport and what the riders aspire to get up onto these big 450cc machines. They've got a lot of power, I have no doubt about it, I promise you that. So being able to pull a taller gear, being able to lug it around the track, it's a bit of an art form, that's for sure.
And let's take a look at the biggest rivals in this class. Johnny Tixier versus Cedric Supercross. Cedric Supercross has dropped it from the lead.
Yeah, I was leading the race, and then I made a little mistake.
He has dropped it all on his own, the front tire washing out, and Johnny Tixier literally running over him.
With a big battle with Cedric, you know, was nice that he had a little crash, so it helps me a bit.
We got words between these two. Cedric Supercross and Jordi Tixier, they look to be having some words. That was interesting.
Cross jumping is something that is really bad in Supercross, and on the jump on, jump off, he jumped from right to left, and this was what got me a little bit pissed at the end of the race.
We are all there to win. We all want to win, and we all give our best on the track. So yeah, I like racing. For me, we were battling on the track. He just made a mistake and opened the door. I just went in. I didn't touch him.
I'm pretty sure he saw the video and he...
I watch a lot of time the video.
I hope he will accept that he cross jump and that he will modify his way to ride a little bit.
I think my start is better than him.
So I just told him that he cross jumped. He said, no, I didn't do it. But when I watched the video, for sure he did. But
We are competitors and we race a lot together in France. I know him, but I don't really know him.
No love lost between the two Frenchmen.
I'm not sure. I don't think them two like each other. Cedric's a big boy and he can look after himself. I'm sure he'll return the favour.
Well, everyone enjoys a little bit of rivalry, don't they, Soumil? That's for sure. And we certainly have that on our hands with the two Frenchmen, Jordi Tixier and Cedric Soubeyras. Of course, Tixier riding for BB Racing and Cedric Soubeyras for Big Rock Motorsports.
And they've only got 8 points between the two of them. Jordi Tixier leading the championship with a total of 40 points, and you of course get 20 points for winning, and he won both the races last time out in Pune. However, in the middle of this rivalry, don't forget one Matt Moss from Big Rock Motorsport. He got a P2 and a P3 last time out in Pune, and guess what? Here in Ahmedabad in time practice, he was the fastest rider out there.
He was the fastest in practice, he was the fastest in time practice. Every single lap he has been out there on the track here at Ahmedabad for round 2. He has been on fire. Let me tell you, I think he's gelling with this softer surface. He's just blasting those sandy berms out there.
Absolutely. We've got 12 riders competing in this race from 7 different countries. 4 from France, 3 from Germany. These are the 2 most represented ones. And of course, we've got riders from Italy, Australia, the UK, US, and South Africa as well. 6 teams, as Lee mentioned earlier on in the pre-show. But folks, keep your eyes panned in on 3 particular riders. Firstly, the number 911, Jordi Tixier. This guy was on another level, as we mentioned in Pune, and he got the full 40. Of course, 2 motos as a part of every single round, and if you win, you get a full 20 points. But as you go further down, that's where you start to get lesser points. The interesting thing is, Lee, it's a teams championship, and they are scoring points for their teams. Each rider has 2 teams, and the interesting part for all of it is that even though you might have one rider winning the race, you need to have a second rider from your team also contributing to the points.
Yes, exactly. So the 6 franchises, a little bit of a heads up for you here. Big Rock Motorsports, BB Racing, Mahite's race team. We've got Rise Motorsports, SG Speed Races, and the Gujarat Trailblazers. So every single rider that we see on the start line in all the classes throughout all of tonight's races are representing one of those franchises. So not only are they trying to win their own class, but they're trying to win their franchise, the overall, at the end of this 3-round series.
And that's what matters so much. And of course, not just these races, we will also have an all-star race at the end of this, where we have the 450cc International and 250cc International bikes going head-to-head together. And that's why we had 18 different riders mentioned out there. But here's a look at the points table, where Big Rock Motorsport literally smashed a big 6 out of the ground last time out. They won, how many races did they win? They won 2 races with Reed Taylor, 2 with Thanadar Penjan, and also got podiums in the 450cc International class as well.
Absolutely, they sure did. And like we mentioned earlier on in the start of the show, they had 4 riders up on the podium. It's incredible.
Yeah. And as you saw on that points table, BB Racing might have got the big win through Jordi Tixier in this class. However, they weren't quite leading overall because you need multiple riders to score points for your teams, and each team has 2 of them. And as we go further down the list, we have all these multiple riders from the other teams. But let's talk a little bit more about this race. Lee, we've got 12 riders competing in what's going to be a 6-minute plus 1 lap race. That's going to be absolutely frantic. 6 minutes plus 2 laps. There's no time for anyone to wait at all.
No, it's almost like a sprint race. But Soumil, you know what it does? It puts so much emphasis on the start and the drop of the gate, getting a good jump into that first turn, because track position is key.
And you mentioned this in your track preview as well. Let's talk a little bit more about this. 70 meters, the run down to turn number 1. And by the way, folks, there is going to be a hold shot. Now, the hold shot line the first person to get there after the first turn will be the person declared to win the whole shot. That's the person who's got the best start. And in those best starters, last time out we had Jordy Tixier get a brilliant hole shot, but also Matt Moss. He was always consistently out there. He got only one hole shot, but in the second race he was in P2. This guy for Big Rock Motorsport is going to be something else to watch for on the line.
Oh, extremely consistent. Matt Moss, it doesn't matter whether it starts or it's laps around the track, he'll be right up there in the pointy end of the field, but he looks to be on fire tonight, I tell you.
And what difference does the length of it make? 70 meters, that's a long way off, right? In Pune, we only had 18 meters to the first corner.
Yeah, look, I mean, that extra time into the first turn, if you don't quite get a good jump out of the gate, it gives you more time to try to get up towards the head of the pack. However, if you have two riders either side of you, they can box you in and then you have no way of getting through.
And in the first corner, that's what we could potentially see. 12 riders fighting for one piece of real estate. There's going to be carnage and chaos, right? But if there's any class of riders that know how to navigate it, it's these 450cc international ones. There are riders who've actually competed and raced for almost 20, 25 years of their life, even though they're all just on an average 31 years old.
Well, you'd like to think of the riders down on the starting line at the moment as, yeah, veterans of the sport. They tend to have done their time as a junior and their time on a 250cc. You don't just all of a sudden hop on one of these 450s and just go, hey, I'm going to go race Supercross. You have to do your apprenticeship.
Absolutely, and some of these riders, believe it or not, begin racing at the age of 3 or 4. They've been doing this literally forever. Literally every single day, they'll wake up, they'll get on their dirt bike and they'll keep on practicing for hours and hours and hours. And that's the reason why these riders in this class are the premier ones in this championship. We've spoken about Matt Moss, we've spoken about Jordy Tixier and Cedric Supercross and their intense rivalry. Who do you think is going to edge this one? I'm going to put you on the spot here. This is a tough place to be, is it not?
Yeah, look, and I don't want to seem like too much of an Aussie fan here, but I'm just purely going off the speed from practice that I saw from Matt Moss on board the Big Rock Motorsports Kawasaki KX450. I think he has what it takes to get the win tonight.
And it's going to be interesting to watch. Matt Moss, the oldest rider on the grid at 35 years and 8 months. He is a 9-time Australian Supercross champion. And you can see all of them lining together, Tixier and Cedric Supercross. But right now, let's hear to Matt Moss, who is telling you more about what a dirt bike and a Supercross bike is actually like.
So the main components and things that we check over before we allow out on the Supercross and just to make ourselves safe. So the number one rider preference is handlebars. Here we have the Pro Taper handlebars. So all comes in different bends, but check over that. Suspension is key for Supercross. A lot stiffer, all individually tuned to the rider's preference. And obviously tyre pressure is one of the main keys. Depending on the soil out on the track, like if it's softer, you would tend to run a little bit lower pressure. So here we'll run a little bit lower pressure. And obviously check over everything from your nuts and bolts and stuff like that. And then rear tyre choice is key for here. And then you can obviously, Big Rock have provide us with a 450 Kawasaki bike. So it's a 2024 model. So the thing out of the box is amazing. So there's not much we have to do to them, but all in all, it's ready to go racing.
Well, there we see Matt Moss, the man who was just chatting about his motorcycle. He's on the line, and have a look. That's the eye of the tiger. He is anticipating the drop of the gate. He's wondering, why aren't we going? He wants to get up and going. And I tell you what, I like that look in his eye. He means business.
Quite clearly. And so many of the Rise Motorsport fans here at the Eka Arena by Transstadia. And of course, the CM of Gujarat is also here. The Honorable Chief Minister Bhupendra Bhai Patel in the house with the promoter Veer Patel in that beautiful grey tuxedo. But here's Cedric Supercross, and we need to speak about Cedric Supercross. Cedric recently won the King of Dortmund. Now, in terms of a prize that would be as good as winning the ATP 1000 Masters, that's how big it is in terms of the prize. And Cedric Supercross is coming off a big hunt, but he doesn't seem to be on the same base level, no? I mean, he's getting there with Matt Moss, but clearly there was something missing between himself and his teammate in the practice sessions.
Yeah, look, I think they were just kind of gauging each other pace-wise. I saw Cedric Supercross trying to hop onto the back of his Big Rock teammate, Matt Moss, and maybe try to pick up a little bit of pace, to tell the truth. We saw that Matt Moss was fastest in qualifying, so perhaps he was trying to see where he was making that time up on the track.
And we shall see what should happen at the start, because Cedric Supercross was also not one of the better riders on the start last time out in Pune. Normally he can get quite aggressive as well, but it will be interesting to watch how they go about when the gates drop. Now, how does the start work, Lee? How does it all happen here? We have a 15-second board, and then...
Yes, so 15-second board gets turned sideways, and then we are in the starter's hands, and it's supposed to be anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds as to where the gate will drop. Now, all of these gates down here, they are self-penalizing, so if you run into the gate, then you get stuck. Nobody else does.
And that's going to be very interesting for all the riders. They've got a diamond to perfection, and the interesting part is they don't even know when they're going to drop. They just have to anticipate it, and all this while they've got their hands on the clutch, raring to go. And so many riders, you can tell, they literally end up moving the bike because of how excited they are. But the moment is here, Lee.
It sure is. It's get excited time as we are almost in the starter's hands, and we have all of our best 450cc international riders down there on the starting line, and the 15-second board that we have been waiting for. 10,000 fans here, a stacked house in Ahmedabad. They are ready to go here as we watch for the drop of the gate. Who will get that all-important hole shot? A nice little roll there from Matt Moss, and I believe he will be up the inside. Oh, and he has gone down.
There's a big crash. Cedric Supercross is involved. Johnny Dixon is involved. And guess what? Matt Moss is there as well. The three biggest competitors in this entire championship. The top three are down. And there's a fight. There's a quarrel. Supercross and Johnny Dixon here are literally trading blows. This is exactly what we expected to happen, but not in this manner.
Well, Supercross is covered from head to toe in mud. Now, I'm trying to figure out how that happened. What part of the track, where has that mud come from? He has bike problems. This is disastrous for Big Rock.
And they are going to have 2 races today. So if there's a bike problem, this could be chaotic for Cedric Supercross and Johnny Tix here. A look at the replay will tell you more about how exactly things went down. Here's Tix here in the 911 for BB Racing, and then he clips the back of Supercross.
Yeah, that looked to be a mistake from Cedric Supercross there, and then, whoa! We have almost got a fight on our hands here between the two Frenchmen.
This is, what can I say? I think the pictures speak for themselves. Chaos all the way through at turn number 1 between Johnny Dixie of BB Racing and Cedric Supercross of the Big Rock Motorsport, your championship leaders. But what that does mean is that Thomas Rimet, the number 206 from Rise Motorsports, got the whole shot and he's currently in P1. This is incredible because Thomas Rimet the last time out didn't quite have the best of rounds. In fact, he was all the way back there in, wait, I can't even find it. He was all the way back in P4, but finally getting a good run and running away with it in P1.
Well, this is exactly what Rise Motorsports needs. They need a shot in the arm to try to get up towards the head of the points chase with these franchises. And could Thomas Rimet be the man just for this job?
I think he is. He's got a 3.2-second lead within a couple of laps already. That is huge. And the big news is Cedric Supercross and Johnny Dixie are out of this race on lap 1. The big leaders are out. And here's another story to track. Matt Moss. Watch for the number 102 for the Big Rock Motorsport team. We previewed his race, his journey, his story, the 9-time Australian Supercross champion. At the end of the first lap, he was down in P10. In the 6-minute plus 2 lap race, there we see Matt Moss making another move. He's moved up to P4 already. How does he do it, Lee?
Oh, he is on a charge at the moment, and you can see he's changed the way that he's going through the whoops. He's starting to jump his way through, launching in and then launching back out again. Now, not only is that fast, but that will save a little bit of energy as well, Simon.
And of course, energy being very, very important. The sprint race this one, and the riders are exerting so much. But let's watch the journey of Matt Moss as he tries to chase down Charles Lefrancois, currently in P3 for the Mohites Racing team on that Kawasaki. And look at the way he's scrubbing. Matt Moss has moved up into P3 with absolute ease. The way he was able to keep the bike low on that jump got him the extra speed, and the Big Rock Motorsport rider is already up in P3, and the warning signs are blowing heavy for Nico Koch and Thomas Rimet for the Rise Motorsport team.
And Matt Moss, of course, on board Big Rock, is the only person down in the 37s. He has logged himself at 37.5, and like you said, next in line for Matt Moss to get past Charles Lefrancois riding for Mohites Racing Team.
He's like a hungry shark, and he can see his meal on the table right in front of him. There is Charles Lefrancois. Right ahead He just got passed, by the way, by Matt Moss a couple of seconds ago. And this rider on your screen would be Lorenzo Camporese, currently in P5. His best result of the season this would be if he ends up finishing right here. But what this does mean is that we've already passed the halfway point of this race. And Matt Moss has limited time if he wants to win this. And he can see his target right in front of him. Nico Koch for the Rice Motorsport team is right in front of him.
What an amazing charge from the back of the pack, from a crash in the first turn. This is one of those races that we will look back over at the end of the series. He's got dirt down that right side of the shoulder, and he is feeling it. He is all over the back of Rise Motorsports rider Nico Koch.
And there he is. He makes a big lunge heading into that hairpin, but he could almost get that race in. Now, over the rhythm section, this is when Matt Moss could get the jump on him. He goes down the inside of Nico Koch, but Nico says, buddy, you can go ahead. You're the faster one here. I won't let you bother too much.
Now we need to have a look. We've got ourselves a 5.6 second gap from Thomas Ramette for Rise Motorsports back to Matt Moss. Does Mossy have enough time to get into the lead?
This is going to be exciting. Only 1 minute plus 2 laps left for Matt Moss to make this happen. He is consistently a second faster compared to everyone else. But the one person he's not faster than is this guy on your screen, Thomas Ramette for Rice Motorsports. This guy has done so much in the world of European Supercross. A 2022 French and European Supercross vice champion, Thomas Ramette, is on fire.
Now, we've just been given a heads up that Big Rock Motorsports rider number 85, Cedric Subaros, is under investigation at the moment. So we will keep you updated as to how that transpires. We know what it's about. And there we see on the side of the screen there, Jordi Tixier for BB Racing. He is not happy. What has just gone down here? Two of our biggest key players are out of the race.
He can't hide it. Even though he wants to hide his disappointment, he can't hide it. The championship leader has literally been knocked off at the first corner, and we don't know who exactly was at fault here. That we should leave to the stewards to understand. But the bigger picture is, this opens up the door for Thomas Ramette, because as it stands, he would get 20 points, and this would mean that the Rise Motorsports rider would straight up rocket up into P2 of the championship.
Now, we've just seen 2 laps to go. The board has gone out. Rise Motorsports rider Thomas Ramette has taken that board, and he is still 4.5 seconds ahead of the Big Rock Kawasaki rider Matt Moss. So that gap is staying very similar, and I'm wondering if Matt Moss has decided, hey, let's just ease our way in. We've done some serious damage control here. Let's try to come out and win the second moto, and if he does do that, he will take the overall.
Absolutely, and the important point is Matt Moss is really gaining a ton of points. At this moment in time, before the race began, he was on 32 points, 17 more for him, whereas Jordi Tixier and Cedric Subaros, his main rivals for the championship, are getting a grand total of 0. But they're also counting points for the championship, and this race would be incredible for Rise Motorsports because they would have a total of 35 points for both their riders in B1 and B3.
Well, it has been all about the Rise Motorsports rider, Thomas Ramette. He got himself a good start. He kept out of trouble, and that is what this first 450cc race was all about. A couple of doubles, and he will take the checkered flag. And the first win here tonight in Ahmedabad. Amazing ride for Rise Motorsports, taking the chocolates in race number 1.
A sweet ride for Thomas Ramette as he stayed out of trouble, and that, my ladies and gentlemen, is a story in itself. The guy in bike number 102, Matt Moss, the 9-time Australian Supercross rider, champion of course, was in P10 at the end of the first lap. He was on the ground with his shoulders literally dusted off with the dirt, but he still fought back, he still fought hard, and Matt Moss has come back literally from dead last to finish P2 in only a 6-minute plus 2 lap race. That is incredible stuff.
And how about the return to form for Rise Motorsports? As a franchise, they took first and third in this race, in the first 450 international class. They are banking some serious points here at Ahmedabad.
And they were dead last, by the way. Rise Motorsports, before this round began, were dead last in the points table, a total of 111 points behind the leaders, Big Rock Motorsport. Now they can claw their way back. This guy, Jordi Tixier, well, what can we say? I think he's speechless, but in the wrong way.
Well, now the race is on to try to get these bikes ready. There's only 2 reasons why you don't finish a race, Emil. One, you're injured, which he clearly isn't injured. Two, you have a bike problem. So for it to be terminal enough, as we have a look at the replay here of the start. Now watch number 85 on the far inside. Boom, tags the tough block, and then that causes all of this drama to happen. It looked like, I was trying to see what happened to Matt Moss, but clearly he wasn't happy about it.
And the interesting part is when Matt Moss fell down, he actually had enough time to wave his hand, then get back on the bike, and this is where the chaos really began. Cedric Supercross and BB Motorsports really clogging up and hitting Johnny Dix here. But this meant that the gates opened up for Thomas from Metro Rise Motorsport. The number 206 was able to pull off and lead in comfortably, winning by ultimately 2 seconds.
Amazing ride, absolutely amazing job from Thomas Ramet at the head of the pack.
And in the meantime, we saw a great fight back from Matt Moss as well. He was able to make some incredible moves all the way through. And he was P10 at the end of the first lap. Eventually, he would pass so many riders, including in this one, Charles Lefrancois and also Nico Hoch, who got his first podium on the championship at P3. And Matt Moss would eventually get 17 points from a race when he was down at turn 1.
Like you said, Nico Koch back there, the German for Rise Motorsports in third place. Charles Lefrancois in fourth, taking good points also. We have a look at the highlights here. Thomas Ramet, he's looking like a man on the charge tonight. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to come out and do something exceptionally good in Moto 2. All right, let's take it down now to Sagarika.
Congratulations to Thomas Ramet for winning the first moto in 450cc category. But I've got Cedric Supercross here with me, who's not really happy. A humongous crash at the start. Tell me, Jody, what exactly happened there?
Yeah, you know, I think it's just a big misunderstanding. You know, we together had not a good start, and in the first turn he crashed, and I landed on him. So I broke my my throttle, and he broke his wheel. So yeah, after this we both done for the moto. So it's pretty tough, but it is like this. This is part of the sport. We still have some motos to go. So yeah, let's have fun.
Right, it wasn't a good visual for the spectators who were rooting for you both. But what was the conversation like soon after? Because we saw some exchange between you guys.
Yeah, you know, since Pune we had some discussion. He was not happy there. I can understand him. You know, this is racing. We are not always so happy. And on this time, okay, I was a little bit pissed. He was also pissed because he pushed me also super hard. But, you know, this is part of racing. So let's go behind the gate again. Let's have some good races, some clean races all together. And hopefully the public's going to enjoy it.
Well, as they say, all's fair in love and war, and it's a war out here. Well, good luck for Moto 2. We are going to look for some action from you as well. Thank you so much. It's time for a short break here, but stay tuned because there's lots more action coming your way.
Welcome everyone to the coverage of the Indian Supercross Racing League by Seat Tyres, and this is the exciting lap for the 250cc Asia category where Ikshan Shanbag has gone down for Big Rock Motorsport.
That's his second big crash today, and I'm wondering if he has rung his bell. He's still feeling the after effects from that first crash in Pune.
Folks, we have so many young riders in this category, a total of 12 riders from 3 different countries. 7 of them are Indians, but the leaders are all Thai. Thanarat Benjan from Big Rock Motorsport winning a couple of races last time, and that puts him up in the lead of this championship. But so many Indian riders, so many Indian Supercross champions on display here, 7 of them to be precise, and this is going to be a big showcase for all of them.
Absolutely. Thanarat Panjan, the Thai rider from Big Rock Motorsports. Wow, he put on a fantastic display of racing at round 1 in Pune, as did Ben Holgren for Mahiti's racing team, and of course Atherson Radreo. So looking forward to seeing what these guys have got for us here in the first of the 250cc India Asia class.
I like that you mentioned him, because we've got so many new names as well in this championship. We've got a couple of them actually. Firstly, we need to go and talk about of course, from the Gujarat Trailblazers, Zabi Mullah from Goa, who's now racing for the first time. And also, another rider from Goa has joined the grid. It would be Alex Sequeira from the SG Speed Racers, whose dad, by the way, is also a former Supercross champion. And that's where they discovered him at a memorial event for him. So he's going to be joining. And also for Rise Motorsports, we have Chala Sin, who has also joined the lineup. And they are just learning the track, learning the series, so they've not had the best practice times, but they're going to be interesting competitors to watch for.
And of course, they get a gig or a card to be able to race here, Samil, because of, unfortunately, we had a few injuries during the week. Riders out trying to get on Supercross tracks, trying to practice and to get their craft better for this weekend. And unfortunately, haven't been able to find their way to the race this weekend.
Yup, we've had Jay Jadhav, Anand Aditya and Jinendra Sangvi unfortunately not racing in this round. Hopefully they're going to be back the next time out when we go to Delhi in a couple of weeks' time. But that's Ikshan Shanbag after this crash, just trying to get up, walk his way through and get to his bike. And a word on Ikshan Shanbag, he is just 17 years old, a TVS Petronas Racing factory rider as well, and a former 85cc national champion. The kid loves to push his limits, even though he's been falling very, very often, unfortunately, and even though he's got so many injuries, he keeps on getting out there and keeps on just pushing the limits of that bike and himself as well. Because yesterday, Lee, he had one of the biggest crashes I've ever seen, and what happened after that?
Well, have a look here. He is absolutely covered in mud from head to toe. But you're exactly right. I thought that he was getting carted off yesterday and popped into an ambulance. Then he comes out in time qualifying and he's riding like nothing happened. So he's like Superman, like the Man of Steel.
And after, so he crashed, by the way, trying to execute a big triple jump. That's over, what, 20 odd meters long. He crashed after that, literally was stretchered off the track, came back in 20 minutes later, and he was totally right. What is this guy? I don't understand him. But we should speak also of the 3 leaders in this championship. Thanarat Benjan for Big Rock Motorsport is on 40 points. Atherson Radreo with 32 points for BB Racing. And Ben Prasid Holgren for Mohite's Racing, who, by the way, has been impressing everyone. He has 26 points at the moment. And the interesting part, these 3 riders, Thanarat, Ben Prasid Holgren and Atherson Radreo, were separated by each other by literally 1/10 in time practice. In fact, Ben Prasid Holgren and Atherson Radreo had a difference of 0.03 seconds in time practice. That's like the difference between Ranveer and Rishi Kapoor. Visually, that's nothing, but it is oh so significant at the moment.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting points was the eventual pole setter, the fastest in time qualifying, Thanarat Panjan. He wasn't the fastest right the way through. I think it was like the last 30 seconds of the last lap. He managed to pip these guys at the post and get the fastest time. So I don't think he's going to have it all his own way here tonight in Ahmedabad.
15 seconds board is up. So many Indian riders on display. This is going to be their opportunity to shine underneath the bright lights. Soon the 5-second board will be up. And the gates are dropped for the 250cc Asia class. It's a great start for Thanarat Benjan on that number 71 Big Rock Motorsport line. He gets the whole shot, and Shlok Khorpade from Rise Motorsports, an Indian rider, was in P2 as he gets passed by Rukrit Barguje in the bike number 9 for SG Speed Racers. So 2 Indian riders in the top 3. It's Rukrit Barguje and Shlok Khorpade.
trying to pick up their number 112, Anderson Rodreo, the Thai rider for BB Racing. He was one of our fastest riders in practice. However, he finds himself back in 6th place at the moment. And we have had, is that, I believe that is Ikshan Shanbag that perhaps has gone down off screen on the triple once again.
That is unfortunate for Ikshan as we see chaos at the start. But it is Thanara Benjan once again leads from the very front. This guy did it twice the last time out. And in this 5-minute plus 2 lap race, he's got it all set up. And here's what happened to Ikshan Shanbag. Did a bit of a cross jump and the front wheel didn't even move properly.
Oh, wow. The number 21, Prajwal Vishwanath, I do not know how he managed to survive that encounter with Ikshan Shanbag. He was blessed there to be able to keep it on 2 wheels because that could have been absolute carnage. The Big Rock Motorsports rider, Thanarat Penjan, out at the head of the pack. He's got one of his main competitors, Ben Holgren for Mahites, back there in 2nd place.
Main competitor and also one of his very good friends, because both these riders have been racing each other for years in Thailand. In fact, both of them Thai national champions, and they know exactly what each other's game is, as we see Thanara Benjan leading. And Ben Prasad Holgren, the last time out, he had, unfortunately, a big crash from the lead, which he claims was a technical issue. Now, he finally has the bike, according to himself. He finally has a bike with custom exhaust, custom suspension, and all these things you need to make a bike go faster. Do you see a difference in his riding league so far?
Yeah, look, I think he looks a lot smoother on the bike than he did at round 1, and he's certainly taking the fight up to our race leader, Big Rock Motorsports rider Thanarat Penjan.
And in the meantime, while we have the 2 Thai riders doing incredibly well, we also have so many Indian riders. In fact, Rugved Barguje from SG Speed Racers is currently 3rd, an incredible result at the moment as it stands for him. But why don't we listen to some of the Indian riders and know what they have to say about these races?
In India is very first time. I think it has happened before, but for me it's first time, and it's something really big happening in India after a long time.
Like all Indian riders were waiting for this moment. It's the game changer for all of us.
Being from the Asian rider and being an Indian rider, it's a complete, complete different feeling.
So I'm getting a lot to learn, corner skills and jumps, and starts, and how your mindset should be. So I'm very happy to be here.
Just be confident on the bike and as well on the jump, because it's a big jump. So it's not like I can go double-minded. If I want to hit, I have to go 100% or just leave it.
Incredible to hear from all the Indian riders, and so much is learned about the mentality here while competing against these incredible Asian riders, especially from Thailand and Indonesia. But these two, Thanara Benjan and Ben Prasad Holgren, are putting up a masterclass. They are 9 seconds ahead of any rider behind them, and this is quite something. In the meantime, we've got yellow flags waving on track. A rider has gone down, and that would happen to be Alex Seguera for the SG Speed Racers, who's making his debut. But Lee, I need to talk to you about Atiston Duadero, because he didn't have the best of start. However, he's clawed his way back up for the BB Racing team and has passed Rugved Barguje for P3.
Yeah, Rodreo is doing exceptionally well, but he finds himself with a 40.6 lap time as his fastest. Unfortunately for him, the 2 Thai riders ahead of him, Thanarat Penjan and Ben Holgren, are both down into the 39. So Atiston Rodreo is going to have to pick up that pace ever so slightly if he wants to start to reel those 2 riders in.
And Ben Prasad Holgren, well, it's going to be quite a challenge for him. He's currently lapping literally almost the same lap times as his main competitor, Thanara Benjan. The gap is barely a couple of hundredths of a second, which for context is faster than you can blink your eye. Incredible racing right at the top. And that delta isn't closing up, right? Because now that we have just 30 seconds plus 2 more laps left to go, the time is running up with Ben Holgren, and he can't quite find that extra pace to beat Thanara.
Well, it looks like that gap between 1st and 2nd place is staying very, very similar at the moment. A little bit of a mistake there for Big Rock Motorsports rider Thanarat Penjan, but it didn't seem to cost him much time whatsoever.
And another interesting story, a word on Rugved Barguje. He was lapping in the 44-second mark earlier on in practice. Well, by the way, guess what? He's actually shaved off a whole second this evening. This is incredible. This is the kind of progression we love to see from our Indian riders, who are gaining seconds on the track every single day. But the 5-minute countdown is over and done with. Just 2 more laps left to go as Thanara Benjan rounds across a big traffic jam.
So as it sits at the moment, Big Rock Motorsports with the lead from Mahite's racing team, BB Racing in third, and SG Speed Racers. So our franchises, that's how they sit at the moment.
And there is a big lap there by Canada Benjan as he goes past some of the lap riders. And this means, by the way, he's done one more lap in comparison to all the other riders racing here. He's currently lapped every single rider apart from Ben Russell Holgren. This is a statement. It would be like winning a test match by an innings and then 9 wickets.
The gap staying very similar back to Ben Holgren in second place, but you're exactly right. Benarat Penjan is putting on a clinic at the moment in front of this Ahmedabad crowd.
One more lap left to go for Benarat Penjan as he comes across the final couple of corners, and as we watch Ben Russell Holgren as well, this is going to be an incredible weekend for him. He finally gets a bike that works according to him. He finally has new parts that are absolutely tailor-made for the way he rides in. And for Ben Russell Holgren, the 2-9 Thai Supercross champion, it may not be a win, but these points are still very valuable because as it stands, he would jump all the way up into P2. Tied with Silverado, believe it or not.
Yes, but it's all about Benarat Penjan at the moment because he is staring down the barrel of 3 wins from 3 starts as he has race 1 here in Ahmedabad. An amazing job. Checkered flag in readiness, Sunil.
Yeah, he comes there. Benarat Penjan for Big Rock Motorsport wins in the 250cc Asia category. That is utter domination. He won by 3 seconds ahead of Ben Russell Holgren. But best, guess what? He's lapped every other rider barring Ben Russell Holgren. That's 9 other riders that Benarat Penjan has lapped in a 5-minute plus 2 lap race. Thai domination all the way through as we have 3 Thai riders on the top step of the podium as well. And this is a beautiful moment. Ben Holgren, Addison Brodero and Benarat Penjan all celebrating and showcasing the dominance of Thailand in this 250cc Asia category.
They are certainly showing us how it's done here at Ahmedabad. It's all about Benarat Penjan. Let's have a look at our replay heading into turn 1.
We saw Benarat Penjan get a hold shot. This means he was the fastest rider across the first corner. And then Rugved Barguji had an incredible start as well for the SG Speed Racers. He would ultimately come back home to finish in P4. An incredible result for him. But then Ben Russell Holgren got a big move on Rugved to move up into P2. And after that, Ben and Benarat were in a league of their own. But this was the big crash. Ikshan Shanbal going down on one of the rhythm sections. This must have hurt a ton.
All kinds of action here now. While we're seeing this replay here, we've just been given our insight here. A disqualification for Cedric Subaros, number 85, from Big Rock Motorsports for bad behaviour. He has been disqualified from race 2.
That was for the 450cc international category, and we should chat more about that when those riders come back. This, by the way, was big news. But at the end of it all, it was Benarat Penjan jumping and leaping away into the distance as he won the race from Ben Russell Holgren. And Ben Holgren tried everything. The 2-time Thai Supercross champion gave it his all, pushed at every single corner. In fact, they were lapping at the same lap times. But Benarat Penjan, he got the ultimate good shot, he got the whole shot and got the big win for the Big Rock Motorsport team. That's win number 3 in the championship for him right now. And this, once again, is domination for Thailand. 3 Thai riders in the top 3. And let's hear more from them about how they get this done every single time.
In Supercross, I would say that Thailand is one of the most competitive countries in Asia.
Thailand now have a motocross championship, 10 rounds for 1 year. I'm racing in A class in Thailand, about top 5.
Especially the Premier class, I would say top 5 to top 10. It's very competitive. On the podium in Thailand, you need to be very strong.
Thai dominance once again. We saw Thanarat Benjan winning a big race. Ikshan Shanbag, his teammate, unfortunately going down for Big Rock Motorsport. But it was once again the same result as we had in Pune Moto 2. Thanarat Benjan P1 and P2 for Ben Prasad Holgren. Now it's time for a break. Be right back. There is no shortage of action here at the Eka Arena Trans Stadium in Ahmedabad as we are back for round 2 of the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. Folks, we have had two amazing motos. Firstly, for the 450cc International and then the 250cc Asia Riders. But coming up soon, it's going to be the 250cc International class riding their first race of today. My name is Samal Arora, joined by Supercross and Motocross royalty in Lee Hogan in the commentary box. And I can tell by the look in your eye, Lee, you love this class, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, I do. I can't wait to see if our Aussie boy, Reed Taylor, is going to come back out on top once again, riding for Big Rock Motorsports, but we're going to have to wait and see. He's got a lot of competition. Julien Lebeau, the Frenchman, and of course, Maximilian Werner.
Indeed, we've got 12 different riders in this class, and the average age of this class is only 23 years old. And there are riders as young as 15 as well taking part in this category in what we have in this class. This class literally represents the next generation of global stars, and of course one of them has to be Reed Taylor in the lead of the championship. He, by the way, walked into Pune with a bit of a not a very flashy resume and smashed it. 2 wins over there for the Big Rock Motorsport team, and everyone, including yourself, had your jaw on the floor.
Yeah, well, let's not forget, last year was his rookie year in Australia, and he's riding like a veteran at the moment. He's looking good out there on the track. He is hoping to do likewise here at Ahmedabad, just like he did at Pune.
2 wins for him as he leads the championship, and he's followed by so many other competitive riders in the form of Hugo Manzato, the guy you see on your screen right now in bike number 965. He's racing for the SG Speed Racers, and Hugo Manzato, he has got quite a CV, has he not? He's raced so much internationally, has been racing literally for the past 15 odd years. But the interesting part is, he wasn't quite one of the fastest riders yesterday in time practice. It was, in fact, Julien Lebeau who seemed to be the best one out there.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're looking forward to seeing what he's got. Hugo Manzato was the one to take it up to Reed Taylor at round 1, and I think he's going to be right up there here at round 2 as well. But Julien Lebeau, he is on a brand new bike this time. He is on a Honda,
round one, his bike didn't turn up. He had to ride a Kawasaki 250.
And he's finally racing the right machine. And even with that Honda last time, even on that Kawasaki, did I say, last time out, he still finished in P3 in the overall standings. That's how good he was. Got a P3 in the first moto and a P3 in the second moto as well. However, he was roughly 6 odd seconds behind the winner. I don't think that's going to be happening today though, because Julien Lebo, the kind of pace he's been showing so far for the Mohites racing team, he is going to be a force to reckon with.
Well, Samil, we saw what happened in the 450cc international class. All kinds of chaos in the first turn. So let's wait to see what happens here as the 15-second board is up. It is almost go time here for the first of the 250cc international. Drop of the gate. Let's see who's going to get to that first turn in first place.
It seems to be a brilliant start by Clement Briac, but the whole shot has to go to guess who? Reed Taylor once again. This is incredible. That's his third whole shot out here in this category so far, and he is bossing the field already. Clement Briac for the Gujarat Trailblazers is currently in second place, but Reed Taylor for the Big Rock Motorsport team already has 0.6 of a second of a gap.
That's the kind of start that the Australian wanted for Big Rock Motorsports. He's out at the head of the pack, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch him at this race.
And as we see Clement Briac behind him on the A51 machine, the Gujarat Trailblazers, the whoops is where we saw him gain a little bit of time on Reed Taylor, but the corner speed, that is where the young Australian is really on another planet. As we come towards the finish jump for the first time, it is Reed Taylor leading for the Big Rock Motorsport team by 2.6 seconds. He's literally pulled out 2.6 seconds in this entire lap. By the way, for context, he was 2/10 up in the first third turns. This is incredible stuff from Reed Taylor.
And Samil checked the time out of 36.9. The next closest is a 38, and that's from Clement Briac and Julien Lebo.
For context, Reed Taylor has gone 0.7 of a second faster than his fastest lap time yesterday. This is incredible. In racing terms, that is literally a lifetime. And he's done that on his first lap of racing. As he crosses the line yet again, he's gone slightly slower, a 37.2. But it doesn't matter because the gap is increasing. He's now 3.2 seconds ahead of Clement Briac for the home team, Gujarat Trailblazers. In the background, do we have any big story? Of course we do. Julien Lebo for the number 259 Mohites Racing Team 5. He's up in P3, where he seems to be almost every time. However, he is gaining quickly on Clement Briac ahead of him.
Number 851 there, we see Clement Briac riding for Gujarat Trailblazers. Another one of the franchises doing good things here that we didn't really see too much of at round one in Penang.
And this is the battle on your screen, the battle for P2, the battle to get 17 points out of this race. And as it stands, we will see Clement Briac get 17 points as he finishes in P2. However, to do that, he has to really encounter a tough rider, Julien Lebo, a rider who's won championships almost everywhere where he's gone. He's been racing for the last 10, 15, 20 odd years, and he's a 3-time German Supercross champion as Uli Stocker.
The German rider from SG Speed Races has gone down. A little bit of a crash there, and he finds himself back there in 12th place.
And this is what happened to Uli Stocker. Around the outside and making contact with the number 77 bike of Brendan Sipple for Ice Motorsport. However, there is a pass for P2. We are seeing a big move made by Julien Lebo on the inside of Clement Briac. The Mohites Racing Team rider finally getting P2, but Clement Briac fights back. There's contact at the hairpin. Julien Lebo with the sweeping run gets P2, but Clement Briac literally almost clobbered right into him.
We're seeing all kinds of bar bashing here tonight in Ahmedabad. And of course, we are seeing it once again here in the first of the 250cc international classes. As we say that, a 5-second gap, 5.1 seconds from Reed Taylor. There it is, the replay. What a beautiful replay.
Yup, he literally put his elbows out Julien Lebo and said, buddy, now is my time, I've got to go. But Clement said, you can't go that fast. This was a proper set. I mean, he came from so far back. It was a move that could have gone extremely wrong. Touch wood, it did not. They are totally okay. But what that does mean is that Julien Lebo, thanks to that really desperate attempt, has now pulled up 1.3 seconds on Clement Briac. And that's the thing with those committed moves, right? When you go all out, there's a chance that it goes well. But when it doesn't go well, you end up losing more time than you actually had gained earlier.
And not only that, you take the risk of going down and having a crash in the process.
And that luckily has not quite happened. However, the battle is still raging heavily. right behind him, as we see Hugo Manzano and Enzo Polaris. They, on the timing street, a little bit 10% away from each other on a Supercross track, and it means just being so close to each other, and the action just gets even better as we reach the last 2 minutes plus 2 laps of this race.
4 minutes 23 on the clock here. 250cc Moto 1 for the international class, and it is all about Big Rock Motorsports rider Reed Taylor, Julien Lebeau for Mahite's racing team back there in 2nd place, and of course Clement Briat back there in 3rd for Gujarat.
You talk about racing heritage, well, that is something that we've seen so much from Reed Taylor. But we get to Reed Taylor in a second as we see some more closeness in this battle for P3. It's Clement Briat versus one of the top riders of last time out, Hugo Manzano, on that teal blue and orange SG Speed Racers bike. Now, Hugo Manzano got a couple of P2 finishes in Pune. This time it hasn't quite been his race. He hasn't quite felt the same momentum. However, in terms of time, he's really closing up on Clement Briat from Gujarat Trailblazers. And I get a feeling fast coming off the cards.
Yeah, we currently have an Aussie in 1st place, and then a bunch of Frenchmen in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Back to Maximilian Werner in 5th place, the German.
Well, we spoke about heritage, right? Matt Moss is the mentor of your leader, Reed Taylor. And for context, Matt Moss is the same guy who was down at turn number 1 in that 450cc moto, and he climbed back all the way up to P2. And it's the same guy who's the 9-time Australian Supercross champion as he cheers on his boy, Reed Taylor. That's a good coach to have, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's a little bit of in-house cheering going on for the franchise, but also for the Aussie boys out there. So you're seeing a little bit of both going on. 8:51 on screen at the moment. Clement Briat continues to do a great job up there in the top 3.
There is a battle, however. Maximilian Werner has gone down the inside of Hugo Manzano. So the number 494 for Mohit Racing is now up into P4. And this is incredible because Maximilian Werner, who got the whole shot in that last moto in Pune, he didn't quite get the best run this time. However, the pace has been on his side and he's past Hugo Manzano. And this will be huge for the championship because coming into this round, Maximilian Werner walked in with only 19 points and in P7. He's bringing in some really crucial points for Mohit Racing, who now have 2 bikes in the top 4.
Now, I had a funny feeling, Sunil, that Julien Lebeau for Mahite's would do a much better ride this weekend. We touched on it a little bit earlier, how his bike got caught in customs at the 1st round. He wasn't able to ride his Honda 250 that he was supposed to, so he's looking a lot more at home here. The gap is now 7.5 seconds, so Reed Taylor, what an amazing job.
This is quite something. Reed Taylor is on course to go ahead and beat his own record of having the biggest victory margin in the entire championship. In Pune, he beat Hugo Manzano in that first moto by 11.3 seconds. We've got the final lap of the race ongoing. Reed Taylor is still absolutely smashing it outside of the park. He is, on an average, 1 second faster than everyone on track. How? On a 40-second lap. It's like he's got 1 minute.
Yeah, look, I thought he was in a league of his own at round 1 in Pune, but he has stepped it up another level here. And you know, that is confidence, Sunil. That is what confidence does to you.
This is going to be an absolute trouncing if it stays this way. Reed Taylor is now 9 seconds ahead of everyone else. This guy, it's just art. Watching him drive is not. Reed Taylor winning Moto 1 for the 250cc international category by, guess what? 1 entire lap. How do you do that?
Look, I think there's just that little bit of a gap back there now. I think it's 11.4 seconds back to Julien Lebeau. Mahite's taking 2nd place. An amazing job there. There we see Hugo Manzano coming across the finish line, but wow, talk about stamping authority in this 250cc international class. Reed Taylor, take a bow.
Lapping the entire field is like winning a football match against, but actually winning the Champions League final by 12-0. How do you do that, Reed Taylor? How is a 20-year-old Australian who's only in his 2nd season of international racing smashing the entire grid away? Reed Taylor has to be the hero of the weekend already, even though he is just only 20 and even though he's just such a young rider. Wow, actually, I think our time stream's wrong. He hasn't lapped everybody. I thought he lapped everyone at the last lap. He's won it by 11 seconds, which, by the way, is a new record. By 11.449 seconds, Reed Taylor has beaten his own record for the biggest victory margin in the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. He is won by 11.5 seconds. It's next to impossible to do something like that.
And both of the Big Rock Motorsports teammates here, Matt Moss and Reed Taylor, having a little bit of a chat. And a tap on the shoulder, of course, from Mossy there in congratulations to his teammate. That is how you do it. Big Rock with another win here under their belt.
His riding got me so excited. I thought he'd won by a lap almost. But to be honest, he's lapped so many riders on this field as well. And that is something that takes some degree of confidence and speed. And this is not an easy task because Reed Taylor, yes, he's competed in Australia quite a fair bit, but he's not quite competed with these riders like Julian Lebeau as well. So to win with so much is quite something. But now, let's hear from the man himself. He's not quite the most talkative one, but here's Sagarika chatting with Reed Taylor about his racing journey.
Well, I'm with one of the emerging stars from Big Rock Motorsports, Reed Taylor from Australia. Reed, you're representing a team which is full of superstars and you've managed to get your first international win. How special does that feel?
Yeah, it's great, especially I'm pumped with the win and especially with the first Supercross series here in India. And yeah, we've got a great team here with Santosh and a few of the guys here. It's great.
How does it feel having Matt Moss around, representing the same team? He's been your mentor. How does that feel?
Yeah, Matt's great. He's a pretty good mate of mine, and yeah, we've spent a fair few days like training with each other over the last few years, and yeah, it's good.
Reed, tell me, how do you describe your riding style and your approach on the track, because you make it look so effortless?
I'm probably a bit more of an aggressive rider, which is I don't know, it kind of just suits my riding style, I guess. So yeah, hopefully a track like a bit loamier soil will come in my favour.
Well, we've seen that aggression in the last round with Hugo Manzato, then the last two laps. Who are the other competitors here who you're looking forward to?
Yeah, obviously me and Hugo had a good battle back in Pune, and yeah, I think Julian, there's a fair few guys that will run it up there, so yeah, it should be good racing.
All right, then you've been fantastic so far. Good luck for the season ahead.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Reed Taylor wins by 11.5 seconds. That is a headline. He's got the full 20, and with that, he's taken his third win of the season. Julian Lebeau for Moites Racing rounds off his run in P2 with getting 17 points. That means we have two Moites Racing bikes in the top 4. Incredible points for the team as well. And as we see all the other riders, the big story has to be Reed Taylor. However, Moites Racing with this get so many big points. When the gate dropped, it was only one man who was on the charge. Reed Taylor dominating proceedings. Folks, it's now time for a short break. We'll be back shortly.
Big mood here in Ahmedabad for round 2 of See It Indian Supercross Racing League. It is stylish, it is so flamboyant, and we're all enjoying these sights in Ahmedabad right here. There's so much crowd here, so much energy, so much adrenaline, and it's been absolutely fantastic to witness all of this action right here in ISRL Transstadia Stadium here in Ahmedabad. I'm alongside Lee, who was just commentating on this fierce battle that we saw on the track right now. The track is still buzzing with so much energy. We've seen 3 races already. Now, how do you think this turned out, especially with the track being completely different from what it was in Pune?
Oh, it's been spectacular. This place is amazing. The crowd is amazing. But the races, they've been so tight. We saw what happened in the 450 class. There was carnage. Cedric Soubeyras, mud all over him. And we got some fisticuffs going on.
Absolutely. It was fantastic to watch all the action here. We've got to talk about that big, humongous crash that happened. The biggest upset in 450cc International, where Jody Tixier and Cedric Soubeyras went down. Not a start they wanted in round 2 of See It Indian Supercross Racing League.
No, that's not what the way that you want to start it, that's for sure. Now, I believe, as we have a little bit of a look here, if you watch Cedric Soubeyras, he managed to hit the tough block and went down. I think that it was a bit of a mistake and a bit of a misunderstanding, as we see here. It's unnecessary. I don't think we need to see that. I kind of like the way that Jody Tixier dealt with the situation here, but we don't want to see any of that going on. And of course, as we've heard, a penalty and a disqualification for Cedric Soubeyras for moto number 2.
Absolutely. Now in Pune, we had seen how rivalry had begun already in Pune in round 1. But over here, absolutely buzzing scenes where they both went down. I did have a word with Jody here after the race. He was quite upset as well.
Yeah, understandably, I would be as well. Both of those boys out of the race. And like I said to Samil in commentating before, there's only 2 reasons why you DNF a race and don't get to finish. It's either you have a bike problem or you're injured, and neither of them looked injured to me.
But Rice did get the benefit of it. Thomas Ramett won the first 450 international race. Let's have a look at the highlights and get to see what exactly went down in that first race of round 2.
Well, drop of the gate and into the first turn. As we know, all the carnage that transponded behind them, it was Thomas Ramett that came out smelling like roses for Rise Motorsports, and a little bit of a wave of the hand there for Matt Moss as he tried to make his way through the pack.
Absolutely, 450cc. That crash that happened, of course, they took all the advantage here. This is something that we'd not like to see, but Thomas Ramett buzzing away on the track and taking the lead. But over here, what exactly worked for Thomas? What was his biggest advantage? Which part was crucial for him?
Well, you know what was crucial for him was getting a good start and keeping out of all of that trouble, because if you get a bad start, you get caught up in all of that drama.
Right, Thomas Ramett, good news for him. Matt Moss from Big Rock, even though his teammate did go down, but Matt Moss was in 2nd position. How happy were you for Matt Moss? Because yesterday in the qualifier, we did see Moss really went ahead and took the lead.
Yeah, he did. He came from dead last all the way through to 2nd place. So what an amazing ride for him. And I think that just goes to show how much of a mission he is on tonight. But as the checkered flag came out, it was all about Thomas Ramett.
Well, Rise Motorsports will be very happy. They have 2 riders in the top 3 position. But let's shift our focus to 250cc Asia. Thanarath, he has completely dominated this race, and it has actually been a tight domination in this category.
Yes, it has. Thanarath Panjan came out. He didn't have it all of his way in practice and qualifying. He had to really fight for it to try to get that fastest time. But you know what? Once again, he got a good start, and that was key to getting the win here. He had one of his very close friends and competitors, Ben Holmgren, who stayed close to him throughout the whole race.
Absolutely, there was so much to and fro, but some beautiful passes that were made in this race. How much of a skill is required to do that particular pass?
Oh, as we just saw a massive carnage there from Ikshan Chandbag, the local Indian rider. Yes, you're exactly right. It takes so much skill to make a pass, and he was just trying his best, as we can see Holmgren here, trying to latch onto the back of Thanarath Panjan.
Is this track very challenging for this particular category, because especially the Indian boys and the Asian boys are not really out there who go out on this kind of dirt, especially these tough ones?
Yeah, look, it's tough here. And the track, like we said, it's totally different to round one at Pune. It's mainly the surface. It's kind of sandy here. So every single lap you come around, the track moves, as we just saw then. Just as I said it, a lot of roosts just went flying. Whereas round one at Pune, it was like rock hard, almost like concrete.
It was also very nice to see some Asian, some Indian boys out there, Rugved and Sarthak obviously doing well for their teams, but maybe they need a little bit of a more push over here for all the Indian boys. Let's talk about 250cc International now. Your boy, Reed Taylor from Australia, he's made a habit of winning it.
Well, talk about being in a league of your own. I thought he may have got tested a little more here at Ahmedabad. Turns out he's in even more of a league of his own here. The whoops, they've turned into jumpers now, so you can jump in and jump out, not necessarily have to just skim across the top of them. But as we have a little bit of a look at the replay here of the 250cc International, it all started with a fantastic jump out of the gate from Reed Taylor, and he set sail. He checked out on the rest of the field.
What is he doing exactly right here? Is he getting his start to the point, to the mark, and that's why he's kind of winning this race?
Look, I think when you're in that right headspace to go racing, when you're doing everything correct, it kind of all just comes together. It's almost like it's meant to be when, I guess what basketball or cricket players call when you're in the zone. He's in the zone at the moment.
You watched him closely from the comm box. How did he perform at the whoop section, which has been an addition in the track in this Ahmedabad round 2?
He did exceptionally well. He started jumping his way through, but I also think that he's been working on how to skim across the top of them as well. So he's a smart rider, and he'll do his time, and he'll get faster and faster across the whoops.
Well, we've got 2 more times that these guys will come. Of course, the races, we have 7 races coming your way, but all these guys have a second chance because there is Moto2 for each category. They will come back and prove their mettle. Let's see who takes it away in Moto2, which will add up to the team points. These riders here are not just racing to win it for themselves. They are here representing the team. And here we go. We are done with the first 3 categories, but coming up next is 250cc Asia Moto2. We'll head into a short break here, but stay tuned because live action coming up.
Okay then folks, welcome back to the Ekar Trans Stadium in Ahmedabad, where we are back for the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. It's time for round 2 and we've already gone through almost half of the races, and this is the updated leaderboard as it stands. Big Rock Motorsport still leading, but guess who's up to P2? Mohit is racing thanks to a big win in the 250cc Asia class.
BB Racing Team back there in third place with 193. Great job to them. SG Speed Racers still back there in fourth.
And Rise Motorsports now, thanks to a big win from Thomas Remek in the 450cc international class, have moved up into P5. But this, folks, is the 250cc Asia and India category. 15 seconds to go until the race begins.
All right, let's watch for the drop of the gate. 250cc India and Asia.
Off they go! It's a hold shot for Rugved Barguje. He's already up the lead, but no, not officially the hold shot, because Ben Prasid Holgren gets a big move into turn number 1. However,
the big story, 71, Thanarat Penjan.
Exactly.
Being caught up in the first turn.
Your championship leader is caught up in the first turn with Shlok Kodbere. The hold shot belongs to one of his main rivals, Ben Prasid Holgren from the Mohit Racing team. They're up into P2 in the team's championship, and this will certainly help them a ton, because Big Rock Motorsport and their primary weapon, Thanarat Penjan, was down at the first corner. At the moment in time, the Thai rider is in P10, and this will be some climb back, quite like his teammate Matt Moss did in the 450cc international class.
Well, he has certainly got his work cut out for him, that is for sure, and we've seen all kinds of carnage going on here tonight. But it is currently Ben Prasid Holgren out at the head of the pack in first place.
The two-time Thai Supercross champion for the Mohit Racing team is currently on a roll, but now we see a big pass. Anderson Ruadano goes down the inside of Rugved Barguje. I didn't think he made a move. I think he barged his way past. He literally went in and was as committed as any Indian rider on the road. No thoughts, just action. Just lick the stamp and send it.
Well, what an amazing opportunity this is for so many of the other riders, while we have Thanarat Penjan back there already up into 8th place after that first turn crash. This is a perfect opportunity for these riders to be able to grab themselves their first win.
And I'll tell you what, this is what we saw from Anderson Ruadano. Commitment unlike any rider on the grid. He forced his way past. He didn't unlock the door, he broke the door and went past Rugved Barguje to get up into P3. This means that Rugved Barguje is now in 4th position, and now we see some moves being made. Thanarat Penjan for the Big Rock Motorsport team, your provisional championship leader heading into this round. He has gotten past and up into P8.
Once again, we're seeing some of the franchise names that we haven't seen up at the head of the pack too much. Mohite's, they're leading at the moment. Rise Motorsports back there in 2nd place, and BB Racing in 3rd place. So our current franchise leaders, they've got a little bit of work to do. Big Rock, they need to get up towards the head of the pack.
Absolutely. So where are the Big Rock Motorsport riders in P7 and P10? Thanarat Penjan is currently 7th. Ikshan Shanbag, his teammate, is currently 10th. And that's their championship lead, currently being eaten up by the Mohit Racing team. This is some interesting stuff. But in the background, we have a fight. Chalasin, who also refers to himself as Boeing. That's the name written on the back of the jersey. He's made a mistake. The commentator's cursor is struck. Chalasin has made a big error, and that allows his fellow countryman Anderson Ruadano to move up into P2 for BB Racing. And now the fight is on.
Now we have ourselves a 5.7 second gap between Holgren and Rodreo. Mohites versus BB Racing. Who's going to come out on top here? Let's have a look at the replay. Exiting the turn, gets on the gas a little too hard. It all started with the front starting to wash out, and he had to get on the gas to make sure he didn't tuck that front and end up on the ground.
But it's interesting, is it not, that now at turn 1, the ground is so soft, the dirt is so soft that the riders, as they keep on digging it in, they've literally created a separate line for itself. It's got complete banking, and that's the only way to go past. And I find it interesting how Chalasin was able to just make sure that the bike didn't quite fall down, but at the same time he ended up losing his place to Anderson. And this is interesting, because now Anderson Ruadano, another chance for him to get some big points when Thanarat Penjan is barely scoring any.
3 minutes 53 3 seconds on the clock here. 250cc Asia, Moto number 2. Currently, Ben Holmgren for Mahidais Racing continues to lead. Atherton Rodreo back there in second place for BB Racing. And it is still 6.4 seconds the gap. So a fantastic job from Holmgren to hold that gap.
And as we just have 1 minute plus 2 laps left to go in this moto, Ben Holmgren is outclassing everyone. I thought Rugwin had the whole shot, but no, Ben really reeled his way past, heading into turn 1, and then got a brilliant exit off there. But the interesting part is, Ben Holmgren is no slouch. He's a 2-time Thai Supercross champion. He was so good at racing for Yamaha back in Thailand, and they actually offered him the chance to run their own satellite team. That's how much trust he built up with that manufacturer. And at this moment, he's really upped his fitness game. And in a 6-minute motor that's so intense and so demanding, that is something that is really working out in the favour of Ben Holmgren.
And let's not forget just how much this track is deteriorating at the moment. Every single lap that goes by, we're getting more holes, more ruts. The sand in the berms is moving around. So these riders, they really need to be on their A game if they're going to pick the right lines out there on the track. Not only that, try to keep out of trouble.
Atherton Rodreo is the rider on your screen right now for BD Racing aboard that Honda. He got a P2 in the first motor at Pune and a P3 over there. He has he has always finished a race in the CN Indian Supercross Racing League on the podium. This would be his 4th one out of 4 races. And yes, he's not quite the best starter, admittedly, but there's something about Atherton Rodreo and him crawling his way back and clawing back all the riders, because the guy never gives up. He was flat on his face at the first restart of the first race in Pune, and he still recovered to get a brilliant P2. That's the kind of rider he is, super resilient, always on the attack.
Well, I tell you what, I'm a fan. I'm impressed. He is just logging off the laps at the moment. He's hitting his marks, and he is, every single time he gets to a corner, he's rolling that power on. He hasn't made too many mistakes whatsoever. He is starting to come across some lap riders now as we speak. However, there is not long to go now. The 2-lap board has just come out.
And for Ben Holmgren, he is on fire. Currently 4.2 seconds faster, 4.2 seconds ahead rather, I should say, of Atherton Rodreo, who is in P2 for BD Racing. And let's talk about Ben Holmgren for a second. It's quite a comeback story, because he was leading the second moto in Pune, and then that's where he dropped it. He had a major crash, didn't quite reach his shot perfectly well, and apparently it was a technical issue, but then he's clawing his way past every single moto since then. Ben Holmgren has been on the podium. This is going to be his first win of the entire season.
Amazing job as the white flag comes out, signifying 1 lap to go for our race leader, number 31, Ben Holmgren for Mahidais Race Team. Likewise for number 112, Atherton Rodreo.
I'm sorry, but my jaw is on the floor. There's a reason why. In that last lap, Atherton Rodreo has clawed back 3 seconds of time from Ben Holmgren. 3 seconds in 1 lap. The lead has been shot down from 6 seconds to just 2 seconds. There he is. Atherton Rodreo is on the back of Ben Holmgren with just a couple of corners left to go. This could go right down the wire. 1 more turn.
Oh, a little mistake there for Rodreo, and I don't think it's going to be enough. Well, the rider's gone down there, are trying to avoid it left, right and centre. But here we have it, the checkered flag. And 31, Ben Holmgren for Mahidais takes the win ahead of Rodreo for BB Racing. That is what racing is all about here. Have a look at the camaraderie between these two.
The 2 Thai riders celebrating with each other. A brilliant result for Mahidais Racing as they get their first win of the season, courtesy of the 2-time Thai Supercross champion. And yet again, the 3 Thai riders celebrating together as, oh my God, Tanarat Benjan, he was 10th. He's clawed all the way back up to P3 in just 5 minutes plus 2 laps. That's why he's right up there celebrating with the fellow riders, because he was down on the ground, flat on his body, but he's still up there in P3. Tanarat Benjan rescuing some great points for Big Rock Motorsport.
As we have a look at the replay here for 250cc Asia Moto 2. And there we saw it, the drama in first turn.
we saw Thanara Benjan colliding with Shlok Ghorpade of Rise Motorsport, and then Rugved Bargoje of SG Speed Racers had a brilliant start, but eventually got passed by Addison Ruadero as he started his comeback to move up in the P2 eventually in this race. And then Ben Holmgren was in a league of his own until he wasn't. He had a 6-second gap at the race, but then in the last couple of laps, we saw Addison Ruadero shut it down to literally 0.8 of a second in the end. Ben Holmgren was just cruising, going all the way past very, very smoothly. But here's where Addison Ruadero really started his clawback. This was Shalisan making a bit of an issue of his own riding. In fact, he made a bit of an error at turn number 1, and then eventually we saw Addison Ruadero close down 6 seconds in 2 laps. There's beyond incredible as Ben Holmgren made a bit of a wheelie, made a bit of a show, and there's a rider down that both of them avoided, and eventually Ben Holmgren got the win. But I get a feeling his heart rate must have shot up to literally 200 beats per second after seeing Addison behind him. Look at the elation on his face.
Yeah, that is just pure joy right there for Ben Holmgren as he has taken the win for Mahite's racing team, and that will do wonders for their points chase for that franchise. An amazing job for the Thai rider, and once again, Thai riders taking out first, second and third on the podium.
It could have been a terrible race for Big Rock Motorsport, because when we all saw Thanara Benjan drop down to P10 at the first corner, we all thought, oh boy, here's a chance for Addison and Ben Prasad Holmgren to claw back some points. That didn't happen, however. Ben Holmgren tried his best. Addison Ruadero gave his best as well. But Thanara Benjan was able to get back from P10 to P3 in 5 minutes and 2 laps. That he was literally rocketing his way past.
He was passing riders left, right and centre out there on the track, and he had a couple of lines where he could sneak up the inside and be a little bit aggressive in the corners, and that was all set up from jumping that little bit lower, being able to scrub and stay a little bit lower on the jumps. But when the checkered flag came out, it was all about the number 31. And of course, Holmgren just ahead of Rodreo, and both of those boys were ecstatic. We have a look at the Mahite's team celebrating here, and a little bit of love for the crowd here for Ben Prasad Holmgren.
And this means so much to him. He's been training so hard, waking up earlier than anyone does. He has 2 training sessions a day, Ben Holmgren. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. He'll cycle for 80, 100 kilometers and then eventually go to the gym in the afternoon as well and run a racing team in the meantime and still train. And as a result, he gets 20 points from this race. What a result. And also, from the Indian riders, Rugved Bargoje, 4th for the SG Speed Racers. Another big result from him. Now, let's go to Sagarika, who's with our winner, Ben Prasad Holmgren.
It's been Thai domination all the way in this category. Ben, you've had podium finishes in all the races, but this is your first win. How thrilled are you?
Yeah, I'm stoked to get my first win here in India, in Ahmedabad, and the fans was on it. Got off to a very good start, and after that I was able to get a gap and can control the race all the way to the finish flag, so very happy.
Well, you all 3 have been performing superbly. Do you all race back home as well? How much do you enjoy racing up and against them?
Yeah, it's my friends, for sure. We're from Thailand and we race each other in Thailand. We're good friends, but on the track we're still rivals, and yeah, I want to win for sure.
Track rivals for sure. Now this track has been completely different from what we saw in Pune. How difficult was this one?
This track was, the dirt was way more soft, which I prefer. So this track suited me more, so yeah, I enjoy the track. Also my bike was working good, so thank you to Mahite Racing Team for the good support. So yeah, no, super happy.
Fantastic. Congratulations on the win and good luck for the next one. We'll head into a short break here, but stay tuned because live action continues.
Welcome back everyone to the Eka Arena Trans Stadium in Ahmedabad for round 2 of the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. Action? Well, we've seen so much of it so far, and it's only about to get bigger and better, because now it's time for the 250cc international class to have their second moto of their day. And in the first moto league, let's just say entertainment was not in any shortage at all.
Well, that is saying it lightly, I dare say. There was so much action out there on the track, as we look like we've got a rider who's a little bit sick on there on the starting line. Let's hope he can keep it all together. But the man on screen at the moment, riding for Big Rock Motorsports, Reed Taylor, has been on fire. Can he make it? 4 wins from 4 starts.
Well, Reed Taylor got the whole shot as well. That means he has currently 2 out of the 3 whole shots in this entire championship. That is a big thing, because once you get ahead of all the other riders and have a brilliant start, it makes other people catching up to you really, really tricky.
Now we can see, just looking at his eyes at the moment, that's a set of eyes that are very, very focused, Samil. You can tell a lot about an athlete by looking them in the eyes. You can see if they're a little nervous, you can see if they're hyped up, but you can also see if they're ready to race and calm. And that's the best combination that you want to have when you go on racing.
Yeah, and you can certainly see that with Reed Taylor, who in the last race smashed his own record of the biggest victory margin in the championship, and he ended up winning this race by 11.449 seconds. If you think those details are unnecessary, well, he won the last race in Pune by 11.304 seconds. So he's getting there. He's beating his own records bit by bit. But importantly, we saw a bit of a comeback from Mohite's Racing. They had 2 riders in the top 4. And now it's time for the prize distribution ceremony for the 250cc Asia category, where in the center we have Ben Prasid Holgren from Mohite's Racing winning in B1. In B2 we had Addison Ruadero on the BB Racing Honda in second, and of course rounding off a tie podium, Tanarat Benjan, who was literally in B10, who had crashed out at turn number 1. He has made his way back up to finish B2. But
all
that's a
3.
bit of a change in result, actually. Is that not, Lee?
No, that's...
I think Addison got a penalty as a result, because Addison finished second on the track.
Well, needless to say, it is absolute domination by the Thai riders, and they've just done such a fantastic job here. So to see the boys up there celebrating just desserts in front of such a huge crowd here in Ahmedabad.
Incredible to see the riders on the podium, and this is a big, big win for Ben Prasid Holgren, who had such a big crash while leading in the 250cc Asia Moto earlier on in Pune. But the fact that he's able to get his way back up, get some redemption on, it means a lot for him. But now, let's focus on the riders on the starting gate, 250cc International. Now, Reed Taylor won the last race by a lot. I think that's an understatement. But there were other riders behind him that really were impressive but couldn't quite get the best run. Let's talk about Julien Lebeau for a second. He finished second for the Mohite's Racing, which, by the way, is an amazing result. His best one of the season so far. And Mohite's Racing now have 2 bikes in the top 4, so it's turning out to be a great weekend for them. However, what really do you think didn't work well? How was he 11 seconds away?
Yeah, look, I think Julien Lebeau just put in such a fantastic ride here, and he was like night and day better than what he was at round 1. But he's on a bike that he's a lot more comfortable with. He's got his own special suspension here. Likewise for Matt Moss, Julien Lebeau both had standard suspension at round 1 in Pune. Now, I must say, the whoop section, that is the most important thing, where you need a set of Supercross whoops, as we have a big round of applause here for our 250cc Asia category. And have a look at those trophies. I wouldn't mind having one of those in my cabinet.
They look pretty, don't they? That's Addison Ruadero for BB Racing Honda, who gets that big result in P3. Now Tanarat Benjan, who was P10 on the first corner, is second for Big Rock Motorsport. A huge result for them in a race where we thought they would end up losing a lot of points. But the winner from Thailand, Ben Prasid Holgren for Mohite's Racing. A 2-time Thai Supercross champion, now a winner in the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League for Mohite's Racing. Top 3 riders, all from Thailand, but all importantly, from different teams. That's the level of competition that we have in the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. This is what we love to see. So many different riders from so many different teams, on so many different bikes, going out and being so close to each other. But we should shift our focus back to 250cc International. They are lining up on the grid, waiting, rather I'd say raring to get going. And Julian LeBeau is going to be one of the riders to watch for. Who's your money on in this race as we come to Moto number 1?
Well,
is it going to be a retailer double?
I don't think you need to be a betting man to put some money down on Reed Taylor. I think it would be a wise bet, in my opinion.
So Reed Taylor, that's who Lee has his money on, but I'd say watch out for number 259 Julian LeBeau for Mohitis Racing. Also, watch out for Clemo Briard. 15-second board is up. It's almost time to get going now, Lee.
All right, 15-second board goes sideways. It is Moto 2 time for the 250cc international class. And jumping out of the gate, we'll try to pick who it is into the first turn. And on the far inside, it's Reed Taylor. He nailed that inside line.
Amazing run by him as Enzo Bolaños was second. Enzo was first into the first corner on the crucial hold shot line. That is where Reed Taylor got the big jump. And with that, it is now a third hold shot of the season for him.
Yes, correct. It didn't look like it was going to happen, but it was Reed Taylor who got the Seat whole shot out of that first turn. What a fantastic job.
And he already has a 1 second gap on Enzo Bolaños for the Gujarat Trailblazers team. This is amazing from Reed Taylor as there's chaos all the way in the background as we see Maximilian Werner for Mohitis Racing get past Clemo Briard up into P5. Crucial points for them, but there is madness everywhere. But in that madness, there is calmness in the form of Reed Taylor, who is smooth as always.
And that was a prime example there. He didn't necessarily get to the first turn in first place, but he just wanted it that bad. He stuck it up the inside, and it was like someone put some super glue on the inside of his tyres. They just stuck to the dirt, and he just railed through there like he was on a set of rails.
And there's some bumping going on right there. We see contact between Nick Laurie and the number 921 bike of Uli Stocker. This is a battle currently for P6 on the grid. The number 22 rider you see passing everyone is Miguel Lamarck as he goes down the inside, fighting for P9 at this moment, and he's on the inside of Brendan Sippel. Nick Laurie on the outside gets a brilliant shot, and that inside line lead, that is working well. We already see a bit of a, let's say a bit of a banking on there, and that inside line is working so well for so many riders, including Lamarck.
Okay, we just saw a rider nearly go off the side of the track. We saw the line of the dirt just got pushed wide, and I thought for sure they were going to go down and have a crash. It wasn't the case. They managed to keep it on two wheels, thankfully. But the big rider that came unstuck here or is not quite performing the way that he would like is Julian LeBeau. He's all the way back in 6th place after such a fantastic Moto 1.
Julian LeBeau really having a tough one, but here's some chaos and contact. It is LeBeau fighting incredibly hard against Clemo Briard, and Julian LeBeau for Mohitis Racing gets the run up into P5. And Clemo Briard really did not make that easy. He had his elbows out to make his bike as wide as possible. Unfortunately for him, that didn't work out too well. And with that, Julian LeBeau, who got 2nd place in the last moto, is up into P5.
Number 851, Clement Briard on screen at the moment, showing us what he is made of. Clement riding for the Gujarat Trailblazers. He slid a little bit sideways coming out of that corner, so starting to struggle with a little bit of traction here. But of course, there we see number 259, Julian LeBeau. He's trying to make his way up through the pack.
Now it's time for some more incredible action because the number 259, Julian LeBeau, is literally at the back of Maximilian Werner as Reed Taylor on your screen cruises away with a 6-second gap already. This guy's going to go ahead and beat his own record, I say. But focusing on that battle behind Reed Taylor, who's clearly in a league of his own, literally a couple of, actually 5 jumps ahead of everyone else. 6 make that to be very precise. Reed Taylor is flying, but this is the man to focus on. Julian LeBeau fighting against Maximilian Werner for P3. Now, for Mohitis Racing, they've got both their riders in P3 and P4, and it's going to be a bit of an intra-team battle. How hard do they race each other? Will Julian LeBeau be able to get past his teammate Maximilian Werner easily, or will Werner make it harder for his own teammate? This is a bit of a mind game that's going to happen right now.
So to answer your question politically correctly, I'm going to say that while this is a franchise-based Supercross league, it is without a doubt an individual sport where riders want to go out and do their best. And well, we're trying to change it here and have it as a league with the franchise. These guys, they're so used to just riding for themselves. So I think we'll find, and we've seen it many times throughout this series so far, that these riders will work together. We've seen Matt Most along with Cedric Subaros, they work together as a team.
And that's exactly what we have seen. Maximilian Werner on that 494 bike has let his teammate go past. So now we have Julian Lebeau up into B2, but there's a big crash. Reed Taylor's down, your leader is down. Reed Taylor from the lead has gone down, but he's still somehow in B1. He's got that much time. He's in a universe of his own.
Well, that's two things right there. One, a massive lead, and two, not a huge crash that sends you over the handlebars and bends your bike up and causes you to have a DNF. A little bit of a tip over in the corner, no problems whatsoever. Let's have a look at the replay here coming in. Is it front end or is it rear? It was front. That front brake locked up. Now I'm wondering, the front brake's on the right-hand side. Did that front brake lever accidentally? It did. It touched the Toyota Hilux tough block. The front brake came in, it locked up that front end, and that's what caused the crash.
And that's his first crash of the season, but he had so much of time that even after the crash, Reed Taylor is still leading by 2.6 seconds. I mean, this kid is special. Even though he's made a big error, he's recovered from that almost immediately. And that's the quality that every Supercross rider possesses. Some more than the other, but resilience. When you go down, most people tend to wonder, oh, how have I gone down? What's happened here? Reed Taylor and all the others immediately getting back up and getting back to action. And in fact, going faster than they were going earlier.
Now, Samil, that would have taken him by surprise as he very smartly moves his way out to the second line in that corner. Now, the point I was about to make, that would have taken him by surprise because that wasn't a rider error. It wasn't a bike problem. What happened was he just got caught off guard with that front brake lever hitting a tough block, and he would have had no idea. He wouldn't have seen that coming.
And a tough block which actually has moved slightly, by the way, because so many riders have crashed there that the tough block has actually been moved slightly inside or outside, and Reed might have been using his own same lines, which is why he's ended up moving block at the end of the day, as you see Matt Moss cheering his boys on for the Big Rock Motorsport team. But only a couple of more laps left to go in this moto, and Reed Taylor, as he rounds up this final corner, will be starting the last lap of this race. And already, I think he's got a gap of roughly 3.3 seconds. He's actually gaining time after that crash.
An amazing ride, a little bit of a mishap halfway through. He had a little bit of a nap on the ground through no fault of his own. Well, let's not say a big fault of his own. Yes, it was his fault that he hit that tough block, but he managed to get it back up, no problem whatsoever, as he puts a lap down on the number 66 rider of Alex Order out of Spain. But he is not far away now from taking the checkered flag and another dominant race win. He is about to make it 4 wins from 4 starts to go towards Big Rock Motorsports. Reed Taylor takes another win here in Ahmedabad. What a ride. Have a look at him here. He is starting to expect this now, time after time.
4 out of 4 for Reed Taylor from Big Rock Motorsport. He's won every single moto in this class. From being down to being out of this world. Reed Taylor was down on the ground midway through the race. He crashed, but he still came back to win by 4.2 seconds. Reed Taylor, this young 20-year-old sensation, will be taking the Supercross world by storm. Everyone has to sit up and take notice, because you don't do something quite like that without being a rider on another level. Julian Lebeau for Moises Racing finishes second, and the Gujarat Trailblazers have Enzo Pulais in third. But let's take a look at the highlights. And there, Reed Taylor got the whole shot. He fought back ahead of Enzo Pulais to get the Seat whole shot on lap number 1. And behind was so much of carnage. But the carnage didn't matter for Reed Taylor, because when you get a good whole shot, you don't have to worry about all the chaos in the background.
And he was extremely lucky that he had himself such a huge lead by the time he had that mishap with the tough block.
And then we saw amazing battles in the background with Mikel Lamarck going head-to-head, toe-to-toe with Brendan Sippel, who unfortunately DNF'd from this race. But these are the battles that we love to see in the CN Indian Supercross Racing League, as Lamarck used the outside line to perfection. The dirt was so soft that we ended up seeing it being chewed out a little bit, and then we had firm lines being put up. And then Julian Lebeau, this guy was aggressive to another degree. He eventually went back down from P6 to P2, making so many key passes.
In my opinion, Julian Lebeau was the big improver this round at Ahmedabad when it comes to the 250cc international class. And of course, unfortunately, the big loser in this points battle, Hugo Manzardo. And there it was. That was the mistake that put our eventual winner, Reed Taylor, on the ground, on board his Big Rock Motorsports machine.
Even though he was down on the ground, he said, that's all right, small mistake, that happens normally. And then he was even faster than he was before the crash, and he ended up taking a huge win. That is 4 out of 4 for Reed Taylor. He's won every single moto in this class. That is quite something. No rider so far has won every single moto. Now, let's go down to Sagarika, who is going to be with our winner, Reed Taylor.
Nothing can stop him. He's all the way up. Reed Taylor, you've won 4 out of 4 races. Talk us through that crash you had in the middle of the race, but still maintained your position. How did you manage to do that?
Yeah, I got off to another good start that one, and yeah, got a comfortable lead, but then, yeah, unfortunately hit a tough block mid-moto, and yeah, went down, but was lucky enough to get up in time before the second place came. But yeah, those last few laps definitely got the heart rate up, that's for sure.
Well, it certainly looks like you are in a league of your own. Tell us, did you have a word with your mentor, Matt Moss, before the race?
Yeah, Matt was there on the line, and yeah, he just pretty much said ride smart and yeah, get it done.
Well, he's going to be in action in the next race. You have any message for him?
Go for it.
Tell us, this track was completely different from what we saw in Pune. How different was it? There's an addition of whoops in the track. How difficult was it to skim through that?
Yeah, it's definitely a different track than Pune. It was on the soft side, this track, so it yeah, deteriorated pretty quick, but yeah, no, it was good.
All right then, thank you so much. Congratulations on this fantastic win. Over to the comms for now.
That's the most we've heard Reed Taylor speak, and that's the most mistakes he's made in the race as well. A grand total of 1. Amazing to hear our winner, Reed Taylor. But there's more racing action coming up now, Lee.
There sure is, man of many words, that's for sure. We have still got 450cc International to come, Moto number 2, and of course, the All-Stars race, the big one, where we will see 250s and 450cc's together on the track at the same time. It doesn't get much more exciting than that.
So folks, it's time for a short break at the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. Be right back. We've got 2 really big races coming up.
Welcome back to Ahmedabad for round 2 of the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. What a night we have had so far. We just had race number 2 of the 250cc International. And of course, down on the starting line, race 2 of the 450cc. Sumil, it is exciting time. It's go time.
It is indeed. And in Moto 1, there were not just bikes flying, there were tempers flying as well. We should talk about that in a second, as the winners from the 250cc International category are rewarded. Well, what a big win it was for Reed Taylor, who stands up in P1 for Big Rock Motorsport, and Julian Lebo for Motes Racing in P2. But the best part is, Motes Racing, they now have a double podium. This is incredible. Maximilian Werner for them in P3, and this is their first double podium. They are very quickly gaining points on Big Rock Motorsports in the point table.
I can't wait to see at the end of the night just how these franchise points play out going into the third and final round. This is exciting.
And here is trophy number 4 for Reed Taylor, winning yet another moto for Big Rock Motorsports. And well, Reed Taylor, he won this after crashing as well in the middle of the race.
Is that a smile that I see from Reed Taylor on his face? I think I did. I saw.
That is a smile indeed. And there will be smiles aplenty when we go to the 450cc Moto 2 that's just coming up in a couple of minutes' time. Folks, this is literally going to be the showstopper. In the first race, we saw our 2 championship protagonists and leaders, Johnny Tixier and Cedric Subaros, collide. They were down together at the first turn, and Cedric Subaros got disqualified. The reason why? He pushed Johnny Tixier. That's bad behavior, the steward said, and as a result, he got taken off the results. But you could tell this was not a result of the crash. This was all boiling up all the way through from that first round in Pune, and now they get another chance to fight against each other. Better for us, I say.
Yeah, well, I thought it was actually some serious action going on at round 1 in Pune, but it ended up that it was just a prelude to what we have seen here tonight, which escalated quickly.
Absolutely, and now in this race, all the 12 riders have lined up ready to go, and watch out for Matt Moss, because in all the chaos, while we had this big kerfuffle at turn number 1, Matt Moss was down as well, and he fought from P10 up into P2 in this race. It clearly tells you he's one of the fastest riders out there. But Thomas Rimet aboard that 206 Rise Motorsports bike, he was ultimately the winner. His first win of the season. Now it's time to do it again.
Yeah, in my opinion, let's keep our eyes on Matt Moss this time, because I believe the Big Rock Motorsports rider is out to make amends. I'm going to say those tough blocks that we just were watching from the bird's eye view, from the drone looking down, those tough blocks on the inside have claimed some serious names today. That's for sure here in Ahmedabad for round 2. Now, we are only moments away from that 15-second board going up, and it's going to be go time here for the second and final 450cc International race. Let's not forget, we still have an All-Stars Moto to come after this, but this is the final point scoring race for the 450cc International. Who is going to come out on top?
The 15-second board is up, and afterwards, once we get the 5-second board, it could be any time when the cage drop, and there the chaos could begin.
Riders' eyes down on the starting gate. They are watching from the slightest movement, and there it is. Who has jumped out? Thomas Rimet looked to have had another good start on board that Rise Motorsports, but Matt Moss up the inside. What an incredible, and he has just claimed a tough block. He is on a mission at the moment.
There is carnage everywhere on the circuit. We couldn't even tell who got the Seat hole shot because it was that close between Matt Moss and Thomas Rimet. But as it stands, it is Thomas Rimet who's in second for Rise Motorsport. And guess who? It is Matt Moss of Big Rock Motorsport up into P1. Now he can flex. Now he can open up his legs and arms and be like, this is my territory, because he went from P10 to P2 in the last race. Imagine how much he can pull away if he has a clear track in front of us like he has right now.
Tough blocks are flying once again. We've got BB Racing tough blocks, Kawasaki tough blocks. They're all just getting smashed and going everywhere. Another one. This is like Mario Kart out there. Thomas Rimet back there for Rise Motorsports in second place. Big Rock Motorsports, Matt Moss at the head of the pack. That was such a close one.
Yeah, and then there was Michael Kartenberg of BB Racing, who clipped, guess what, a BB Racing tough block. Incredible stuff, and Johnny Tixier to navigate some of them as well. Now, these things are made out of cardboard, as you can see. As, Nico Koch, a podium sitter the last time out, went down as a result of the madness. But these cardboard blocks, they don't they're structurally very light. So when you go past them, you lose so much of time.
Okay, so 2 seconds gap already from Big Rock rider Matt Moss back to Thomas Ramet in second place. A little bit of a case there. Moss coming up short that we just saw from the drone. This above shot is brilliant at showing exactly where the riders are going around the track.
Folks, who do you think is going to be a really good rider in this race? I think John thinks he has a chance. No? Yes, he does, because he was back down at P8. Now he's fighting to get up into P3, which he has done with some composure. Johnny takes it aboard that red number 911 BB Racing Honda, has now moved up to P3. His start wasn't quite incredible. He normally is a good starter, but this time out didn't quite work so well. However, he has pulled back some time with pace, because he's currently the fastest rider on track, and by some margin. He's going roughly 3/10 faster than our leader, Matt Moss. Johnny Tixier needs to recover some points quickly after a DNF in Moto 1. He's going to be on the edge for this one.
2 minutes 26 seconds on the clock here. 450cc Moto number 2. And it's all about Matt Moss at the moment. What a lead from Jordy Tixier. The BBR Racing rider just slotted up the inside and almost landed on the back of Thomas Ramet, and that will be enough to pop him up into second place. Now, what we need to do, we have to watch the lap times very closely. Currently how it sits, it's a 37.3 lap time for Matt Moss and a 37.9 for Jordy Tixier, as we just saw the replay of that insane move from Tixier.
Johnny, now some riders tend to ask for permission when they go through. They'll just wait for a little bit, hang back and be like, hey, can I pass? I'll show my nose down there. Can you make some space so that I can go down the inside? Johnny Tixier doesn't do that. Johnny Tixier barges his way past. He pushes you, and not literally pushes you, but he makes his way past with such a presence that you have to let him go. That's the kind of rider he is. But to your point about the lap times, Matt Moss has really upped the pace. He's gone 6/10 faster than his last lap time, and he has a 4.3 seconds gap to Jordy Tixier, which is going to be hard to catch up in 3 minutes plus 2 laps.
But full credit to Jordy Tixier on board the BB Racing machine. He got a 37.4, so only 0.1 of a second slower than Matt Moss. Now, they're just trying to gauge each other for speed at the moment, because we are well over the halfway point of this race already.
And look at the support from all the other fellow riders. Those are the two 250cc international riders, Hugo Manzano and Enzo Polias, cheering on their teammates. That's the level of passion they have. And for context, Supercross riders barely ever race for teams. They normally are very selfish, very individual people. However, to see these riders cheering on their teammates, this really has changed them, and that's the power of the franchise-based system that we have right here in the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. The world's first, and dare I say, only Supercross franchise league in the world.
Yes, an amazing job that they are doing here, an accomplishment nonetheless. Spectacular racing that we are seeing from the individual riders as well as the teams as they get together and try to gather as many points for their individual franchises. A passing move set up and executed by number 384, Lorenzo Camparisi. The SG Speed Racers rider was super aggressive there.
There he was indeed, and now he's up into P3. This could be his first podium, but trust me, it's going to be a tough job all the way till the end, because riders like Thomas Ramet and Paul Haviland are not going to make it easy for him. Here's Paul Haviland on that 491 Motor Racing Kawasaki, who sent one on the inside of our last race winner, Thomas Ramet, and he gets it with ease. Thomas Ramet sums things up. This guy is not at the same pace that he was in the first moto. However, he's still scoring some great points for Ice Motorsports, a total of 12. But Lorenzo Camparisi, that was a good move by him on the SG Speed Racers bike.
Yeah, that was an amazing pass. Here we see the replay, threw it up the inside. I tell you what, he was reasonably polite there. That could have been a lot more rude.
Yeah, but he saw one opportunity and he said, I'm not going to get this in. I might as well grab it with both hands, and that he did. However, there is a competition for him. Right now, we're seeing Paul Haviland about that 491 Motor Racing Kawasaki make life so much harder for Lorenzo Camparisi. He's not going to let him get his first podium of the season that easily. Paul Haviland also wants his first podium of the season, and he's going to be pushing extremely hard for it. There we go, to that first hairpin. It is going to be a tough job, as the 6-minute clock has gone down. Only 2 more laps left in this moto.
Now, the Mahite's rider, Paul Haviland, he was 4th fastest in qualifying, but he finished 5th overall at the first round. So great points for him, and he's trying to get back up there towards that part of the field that we expect him to be.
And
trying to set up a move, but not quite able to get past Lorenzo Camparese.
Sorry to cut in there. That was a big, big move right there by Paul Harbour. I'm stumbling over my words because the action is so intense. And now you're getting to see one of those big hairpins where time can be made up. And there is an almost send by Paul Harbour. Harvey is really thinking about it. He wants it so bad that he's constantly putting his nose on the inside and just letting Lorenzo Camparese know that he's there. And now he sends it. Now he sends it for P3. Paul Harbour for Moises Racing has moved up into P3, and this was a long time coming. Nothing that Lorenzo could do about it.
A well-executed block pass there. Let's watch. He set it up on the triple, and Camparese had no choice. He looked over to the left, and that is all he wrote as Paul Haberlin made that pass up the inside.
But it's not done yet. Just a couple of more corners left to go. And there's a big send from Camparese that doesn't quite work out. Oh my word! Paul Harbour has only just kept hold of P3, and Lorenzo Camparese of SG Speed Racers on that teal and orange bike really had a chance.
On screen at the moment, it looks like Jordi Tixier has taken a little bit of track bunting with him, but let's follow him through. What a way to rebound. The Aussie from New South Wales in Australia, riding for Big Rock Motorsports, takes the checkered flags and waves to the crowd here in Ahmedabad. That is the way you do it, and a 2-1 will give you the overall. And a nice little congratulations there from the 911 Jordi Tixier.
The 9-time Australian Supercross champion was down on the ground at the start of the first moto, and at that point nobody would have thought that he would end the night not just with one podium but also with one big win for Big Rock Motorsport aboard that Kawasaki. Matt Moss is a true champion, and he's won this moto by 1.5 seconds ahead of Jordi Tixier, who crucially scores so many points in this race. And here's a look at the replay. He got the whole shot. And eventually, did he get the whole shot though? Because we really couldn't tell. They were so close between himself and Thomas Rumet.
Yeah, we didn't quite get to see the Seat whole shot line there through the exit of the turn. But I tell you what, it was going to be pretty close to a photo finish across that line between Matt Moss and Thomas Rumet, that's for sure. But I don't think I have ever seen a race where so many tough blocks have gone flying.
Yeah, those tough blocks had a really tough night all the way through. We saw so many riders struggling through them, and then Jordi Tixier barged his way past, getting past Thomas Rumet up into P2. And this was an important move because that gave Tixier the chance to really close up to Matt Moss, which he did to a decent extent. And then this battle, Thomas Rumet and Lorenzo Camparese. Lorenzo Camparese almost had his hands on a first podium of the season. Almost. It didn't quite work out in the end, but what a show he put up, putting this amazing move on Thomas Rumet.
A great little block pass up the inside, but it came back, and it came back in spades.
Yeah, it did indeed, because we eventually saw Paul Harbour of Moises Racing send one on the inside of Lorenzo Camparese as well. That was one send. There were so many other ones as well that didn't get captured, because this battle went all the way to the very end.
But in the end, when it was all said and done, it was all about this man, the number 102 from Australia and Big Rock Racing, Matt Moss. Let's head down to Sagarika.
It's a super special round 2 for Matt Moss. Matt, your first win. How special do you feel tonight?
It's amazing. First and foremost, I really want to thank the Big Rock Motorsport. These guys have been looking after us 100% and trying to make everything as good as we can. And from the first round to this round, they've put all their 100% into us guys, and it can show on the track. So first and foremost, thanks so much to Big Rock Motorsport. So if you want to learn to ride like me, you just hit up Big Rock and go there, and they'll teach you how to ride like me.
Well, you certainly stepped up for your team. Now your mate Cedric was disqualified from this race. Now, how gutted is the team right now?
Yeah, I've seen the full footage. I think it's a bit unfair on Cedric's part when Jordi pulled his bike over and then stood on his back wheel. So in my eyes, I would have done the same. I would have reacted the same. So he got off lightly. Sucks for Cedric, and it sucks for our team. But we'll keep fighting. We'll keep piling on the points. We've got big hearts at Big Rock, so that's all that matters.
Well, talking about the positives, we saw how you led yesterday in the qualifier round as well. You had the fastest lap. What has worked for you on this track specifically?
Well, at the first round, I had standard bike, standard suspension, standard everything. So to ride a Supercross track on standard bike, it's pretty hard. But, you know, finally got the bike sorted the way I want it. But, man, it feels good. It's a long way from home, from Australia. My beautiful wife and kids at home. And, man, I wish I might have to fly him to Delhi now that I have a chance at the championship. So my family can be there. But hats off to the whole team, every rider on our team, from the mechanics to the personnel, everyone involved in our team. It's very humbling and I'm honoured to ride for the team.
Well, keep smiling, keep winning, and keep flying high. You've been absolutely fantastic. It's time for a short break here, but stay tuned because live action, as always, continues.
Oh, well, we needed that short break, didn't we? Because the action was literally at a fever pitch at the Eka Arena Transtadia in Ahmedabad, where we have had 6 races so far. But it's time to have the biggest one yet coming up shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, the All-Stars race, where we have the 450cc International, the 450cc, actually the 450, the 250 and the Asia class, everyone going in and racing together, which means in that all-star race we will have a total of 18 bikes on the track together. 6 450cc ones, and then the other ones are all going to be 250cc international ones and the Asia ones as well, which means there's going to be chaos everywhere because all these bikes, they have different strengths and weaknesses, and it's going to be fun to watch how they stack up against each other on the track. But so far we saw some incredible action. Thomas Remed winning for Rise Motorsports in the 450cc international class, then Ben Hallgren getting the big win in the 250cc Asia one, and Reed Taylor, well, he did a phenomenal double and he's ended up winning 4 races. But Ben Hallgren, your big winner in the 250cc Asia class. But this guy was something special, Reed Taylor. He's won every single moto that has ever taken part in this championship, and his teammate and mentor Matt Moss gone ahead and did the same as he did, because in the 450cc International Moto 2 that just concluded, Matt Moss was able to get a phenomenal win ahead of Jory Tixier, and that puts him in the lead of the championship. Now, here are the categories that we have so far. You must have heard me and Lee speak about 450cc International. What do they mean? Well, these are bikes that are 450cc in terms of cubic capacity. They are the ultimate performance of dirt bikes that we have there. And then the second class, 250cc International, They are slightly slower, however, in the corners, just as fast. And then, of course, we have another category with the Asian and Indian riders too. And then the All-Stars, we're going to have all three categories up together on the same track at the same time. Now, let's go to Sagarika, who'll tell you more about all the action that has gone on so far.
Well, relentless, non-stop live action out here on round 2 of SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. Now, so much action we've witnessed here. Every category we've had 2 races already. How do you sum up this exhilarating night here so far?
Well, it's been fantastic. We've had 3 separate winners so far. Matt Moss, wow, what a race he did. First race to come from dead last, come through to second place, and then the display that he put on then to win and get the overall. We could tell, we could see it in his eyes. It was fantastic. I also must say his teammate, Reed Taylor, he's the form rider out of everyone so far in this series, I believe.
Right, let's talk about the 450cc international race where Matt Moss finally, after getting all the more podium finishes here, has won it tonight. Must be really special for him.
Yes, absolutely. It's extremely special for him. As we see a little bit of a replay at the moment, the boys coming through, the pack of rider gone down, but it was Matt Moss that got out to an exceptional start here in race number 2 of the 450cc International. And I'm not sure if you got to see it, Sagarika, like we did, but there were tough blocks flying everywhere. We've never seen anything quite like it.
Right, I heard you say they were made of cardboard and hence the bikes were just flying across them, over them. But what do you think went wrong for Jordy? He's been winning every category for his particular class. Where did Jordy go wrong in this one?
Look, I think plain and simply, he came across Matt Moss, who was in fine form at the right time. And unfortunately, Jordy Tixier got himself a little bit of an average start, and that's what cost him very, very dearly.
Right, we saw so many crashes here this evening. Now must be really difficult for riders to pick up from a crash and then go get a win. But then again, we saw Reed Taylor. He went down tonight but did not leave his position at all.
That was an interesting thing, and once again, it was a tough block that claimed another name. Those tough blocks on the inside of the first turn caused some dramas for these riders, but he caught that front brake and locked up that front wheel, and he went down. But as we see on screen at the moment, Matt Moss, it was all smiles, taking a fantastic win, and the podium up there, hat off for Matt Moss. The Big Rock Motorsports team coming out on top.
Right, but Jordy Tixier there on second place. He's not used to that position, is he, Lee?
No, that's right. Our podium here, I believe, second place for Rise Motorsports. I think that's Thomas Remet. Third place for riding for Mahites, and about to get his trophy there. And I said to Samil up in the commentary box before, I want one of these trophies in my cabinet. This is fantastic.
Well, certainly we'll get that one for you. We'll hand it over to you. But let's talk about the crashes like we were earlier. We've seen so many riders go down. Unfortunate for all of them. But of course, over here, what did you notice?
Well, this was the big one, which ended up in some fisticuffs in the first turn. Now, that's obviously not what we want to see and what we want the fans in the crowd to see. But that was the combination of just a lot of things going wrong together. This one here in our 250cc Asia class, that was so close. Ikshan Shanbag coming across and almost brought both of them down. Now right here in our 250cc international class, once again, so much aggression going on. I think that we have seen more excitement, more passing and more incidents. This was the one where the front brake unfortunately got tagged by Reed Taylor and he went down so quickly.
Well, as they say, what's a race without a crash? That's where the drama begins. That's where coming from the back, we've seen so many riders do that as well. And over here, how do you get your confidence back after a crash like that, Lee?
Well, I think the way you get your confidence back is you do what Matt Moss did. He came from dead last with a crash in the first turn, and you could see it in his eyes. He meant business, and he came out and he did what he needed to do. And I think that's how you need to respond. Likewise, Jordy Tixier, he didn't quite respond the way that Matt Moss did, but he still came away with a second place in that second moto. So a fine job for him as well.
Well, we've also seen some fascinating passes, some beautiful overtakes by the riders, which kind of brings the adrenaline exactly for that moment. How impressed were you by them?
Well, that was a well-executed setup from Matt Moss up the inside, but some of these ones that we're about to see, they got a little more aggressive, that's for sure, as riders started to come up the inside and make some moves. A lot of them are in the same corner, that left-handed turn after the triple and before the whoop section. That was a little bit of a mistake there, almost like someone put a banana peel on the ground.
Well, it is very challenging here. These passes, they have a very thin margin. You either pass them or then you end up crashing.
Well, that was a big overjump there for Geordie Tixia. He was lucky not to bring himself down in the same instance, but he managed to keep it on two wheels and make the pass.
What are the different kind of passes we see riders do on the track here, Lee?
Well, the main one is a block pass where riders come up the inside and force the rider wide, and quite often they'll prop or almost stop in the corner, and it forces the rider on the outside to panic, and they think they're going to get hung up to dry, and that gives them a little bit of a gap when they come out of the corner. So that's the most popular pass. And there's just a normal pass where you pass them up the inside or the outside, but you don't hang them out to dry. But then there's what we call a takeout. Now that's when you run into another rider, and quite often it ends up in fisticuffs.
And this night has been everything about that display of skill, talent. Well, we'll slip into a short break here, but the conversation continues.
Welcome back everyone to the Eka Arena Trans Stadia in Ahmedabad, where we are just preparing for the All-Star Race. The All-Star Race is one where we have all the riders competing together. But before that, let's talk about the points table, because there have been a few movers and a few shakers for sure. Big Rock Motorsports still remain at the top of the points table. However, the gap, this is where the big story is. They were leading by roughly 60 points heading into this round. Now that has been chopped down to only around 40 odd points. And Mohit Racing, who were third in the points table at the start of the day, have now moved up into P2, overtaking BB Racing, and crucially some good points gained for Rise Motorsport as they also won a race through their rider Thomas Rement.
Yes, wow. 308 points for Mojitos. They are the big climbers here. And can they put in a good form here in the All-Stars race and try to get even closer to Big Rock Motorsports and try to make this a little bit of a tussle at the head of the pack? But it has been another fantastic night for Big Rock, that's for sure.
Yeah, it has indeed. And they have won a big race through Matt Moss. And what you're seeing on screen right now isn't quite racing. It's a little more flashy, a little more spectacular. The freestyle motocross riders putting up their magic at the Eka Arena Trans Stadia. And there we see, I don't even know what to call that. It's just incredible, whatever it is. What is that, Lee?
Yeah, that's an Indy seat grab here. There's all kinds of tricks going on. They do flip tricks. They do crazy stuff. Look, I need to really update my freestyle repertoire. I'm going to tell you, that's for sure.
But the pause that you put up, that really sums it up, because we have
that's a knack-knack. I know that one. See, that's old school. That's Jeremy McGrath from back in the 90s. See, that's what they need to do. They need to either whip it, throw it sideways, do a knack-knack, a can-can, maybe a cliffhanger. I know those ones.
But Sebastian, one of the riders right here, he has been incredible with all the shows. They've had 3 freestyle motocross shows so far, and all of them, literally all of them, have had everyone gasping. Doesn't even have that, right? Those sounds sum it up. You are left speechless by these riders.
Yeah, these are a great bunch of lads, our freestyle crew here. Had a chance to chat to them as you did. We both got to chat with them at Pune while they were setting up their ramps. And it's quite unique the way that they set them up. And here in our stadiums in India, some of the runs that they have to come in, they're coming in from the side of the stadium. It's quite insane.
But while the freestyle motocross riders showcase their magic, we also need to talk a little bit more about the race that's going to be coming up. And that one really matters, Lee. It is the All-Stars race. We need to take a second to appreciate the because that's just beyond me. But then let's get back to the All-Stars before I get distracted.
Yeah, and you've got to love the slow-mo of the freestyles. It just shows how flexible these guys are. And if you look up closely, you'll see there's a number of changes to their bikes, that's for sure. As our freestyle riders have their last go. There we see a nice little turn down. That's my style there. I like that. That's my kind of freestyle trick.
But before I get distracted and before I just have my jaw dropped on the floor, we need to talk about the next one, the All-Stars race. This is going to be having 18 riders. Now, normally in any race we have 12 riders, but the reason why we have 18 is because each team picks the best rider from each category and sends them out together. So we have 6 riders from 250cc Asia, 6 from 250cc International, and 6 from 450cc International. 1 per team per category. And this means that we're able to have 450cc bikes and also 250cc bikes racing against each other. It's a great opportunity to firstly see where all the Indian riders stack up against all the international ones, because normally they don't tend to race with the international 250cc riders normally. But B, it's a great platform to see how the bikes race against each other, because structurally there's not much of a difference between 250cc and 450cc barring the power. However, the straights, that's where the 450cc's really get into a league of their own.
Yes, exactly. Now, like you said, 250s against 450s here. You would think that the 250s would have their back up against the wall a little bit, make it really quite difficult. However, if we look back to round 1 at Pune, it was Reed Taylor on board the Big Rock Motorsports Kawasaki 250 who finished 4th. He was just 1 place off a podium, And I'm wondering, does he potentially have a podium in himself here? The other thing we need to consider tonight at Ahmedabad for round 2, we have a much longer start straight. Now that's going to play into the hands of the 450 bikes, that extra horsepower. You've got so much further to get all the way to that first turn.
You have indeed. And now here's a legend, an expert and 9-time Australian Supercross champion, Matt Moss, to tell you more about what a Supercross bike is actually like, but in person. Let's listen to Matt Moss, shall we?
So the main components and things that we check over before we allow out on the Supercross and just to make ourselves safe. So the number one rider preference is handlebars. Here we have the Pro Taper handlebars. So all comes in different bends, but check over that. Suspension is key for Supercross. A lot stiffer, all individually tuned to the rider's preference. And obviously tyre pressure is one of the main keys. Depending on the soil out on the track, like if it's softer, you would tend to run a little bit lower pressure. So here we'll run a little bit lower pressure. And obviously check over everything from your nuts and bolts and stuff like that. And then rear tyre choice is key for here. And then you can obviously, Big Rock have provide us with a 450 Kawasaki bike. So it's a 2024 model. So the thing out of the box is amazing. So there's not much we have to do to them, but all in all, it's ready to go racing.
Well, great little piece there for Matt Moss, giving us a little insight into his Big Rock Motorsports race bike. And yeah, some great little grabs there, talking about the suspension, talking about the tyre choice, and that's incredibly correct here. The deep sand, you need to have that right tyre on. Now, we've just been given a little bit of a heads up. Rise Motorsports rider Thomas Ramette is not in this All-Stars final. He is out injured, so I believe his teammate Nico Koch is going to take his spot down on the start line. So all kinds of things changing as we speak here before the drop of the gate. And there we see him, number 20 on the Rise Motorsports Kawasaki, Nico Koch.
So 8 minutes plus 2 laps in this All-Stars race. How does it work out, Lee? Let's just put it out to everyone. All the 18 gates are filled up, which means turn number 1, it's going to be like the Royal Rumble. There's going to be 1 million people fighting for the same piece of real estate at the same time. And if you thought the crashes in the other motos were excessive, well, the chaos here could prove to be even more of a catalyst for more such crashes.
Yeah, and I think we need to make comment and pay respect for the 250cc India and Asia class riders who they're just getting around this track fantastically well. However, they get to sit back and watch their stars that they look up to, the 250 International, but particularly the 450 class. Now, they have to line up down on the starting line alongside them and just go, hey, I have to race around this track. Now, what do? Do I try to get a good start so I'm battling with them in the first turn? Or if I don't get myself a good start and I'm shuffled to the back of the pack, how quickly am I going to be put a lap down by some of these faster 450s? So how do you mentally prepare these riders on the starting line? Every single one of them needs to individually figure out how they're going to tackle this situation.
And imagine if you're a 16-year-old Shlok Bhotpade and someone comes up to you and tells you, hey Shlok, today you're actually going to be racing against Matt Moss. Huh? Matt Moss, 9-time Australian Supercross champion, I'm going to be lining up with him? That's one of the most insane experiences that you could possibly have. And the 250cc International and the Asia bikes might not be the fastest ones on the straight, but in the corners, it's a good opportunity to show what you've got in there. And that is where all these riders will be interesting to watch. Now, in the last All-Star race that we had in Pune, Reed Taylor finished 4th overall. I'm not saying 4th in class, 4th overall. He was faster than 2 450cc bikes. Now, that is unlikely to happen here today because A, it's a longer race, and B, there are far more straights where the 450cc bikes can catch up. However, watch out for him because he's won every single race he's competed in his class. I just am very excited to see how he ranks up against all the others.
Well, I'm just going to lay it out there, and I believe that Reed Taylor will end up on the podium in this race.
Overall?
Yes, in this All-Stars, he's going to be top 3. I think he's going to go 1 better than he did at Pune, and I think he's going to turn that 4th place into 3rd, up against all of these 450s.
you know, I would love to see that happen. That would be a statement from Reed Taylor. And if he would do that, well, he would get a total of 15 points apiece P3, as we saw on the points table graphic. 18 riders, and everyone has to score points for their team. This is not a joke. This is not an exhibition. Every single one of these points counts for the overall team's championship. And here, the riders have got to A, navigate the chaos, and B, make sure that nobody crashes into them, because 18 riders on this narrow track, the blue flags, which means the flag that's waved to make sure that you are able to get past a slower rider, that will be a constant sight, and the riders will really have to dodge so many other slower riders as well.
Now, I tell you, someone that wants to try to turn their night around and make amends for his couple of 450 incidents that he's had is Jordi Tixier on board the BB Racing Honda machine. Now, he just happens to be starting one position to the right of Reed Taylor on board the Big Rock Kawasaki 250. So, if Reed Taylor wants to get to that first turn in a decent position, he needs to rocket out of that starting gate and try to get his elbows out ahead of Jordi Tixier. Now, Tixier's had a couple of bad starts tonight, so that's not completely out of the question.
And Tixier, well, he has one more opportunity to make things right. He may not have scored any points at all in his first photo of the day, but if he can win this, which he has done, by the way, today, it could be a big chance. Now then, 15-second board should be up in a couple of seconds. I think it's the calm before the storm, because when this race gets going, there's going to be no time to rest at all for anyone.
Trying to pick up our riders here, and there we see it. The 15-second board is up, and I cannot wait for the drop of the gate of this one. Riders getting nervous, the blood's starting to pump. It's anticipation time. Who's going to come out on top? Let's watch for the drop of the gate, and they held him for a long time. Here we go. Who is going to enter into that first turn in first place? It looks to be, Camparese has taken out a bunch of tough blocks. We've had riders go down. That looks to be Julian Lebeau, one of our 250 riders.
And Addison Ruanero, one of our stars in the 250cc Asia class, is down on the first lap with Jacques Kunavarna as well. Tough blocks have been murdered all the way through. But I tell you what, the lead currently belongs to one. Was it Nico Koch at the start? I saw that. I think it was Nico Koch, was it not? It is indeed Nico Koch getting the whole shot for Rise Motorsports. He is in P1, followed by Matt Moss of Big Rock Motorsports. And these points will count a ton for them. Lorenzo Camparese for SG Speed Racers is currently third. As we see his position being taken away. That was some pass by the Big Rock rider.
Mikel Lamarck, number 22, we're trying to pick up here. There's a little bit of a look over the shoulder. It is all going on here. That Matt Moss, we're trying to pick up lapped riders versus who's in the lead. Matt Moss there.
And you can tell the chaos just gets to everyone, including us, the commentators as well. We told you so. There are 18 riders on the same track at the same time. There's barely enough real estate for every single one of them. And this chaos becomes so hard to navigate for every one of these riders. Now, we should focus on Reed Taylor, who at this moment in time is somewhere in the mid-pack, trying to catch up, if I'm not mistaken, to a couple of other... It's going everywhere. That's Reed Taylor at this moment in time. Is fourth. Your prediction is turning out to be correct. Reed Taylor on a 250cc bike has gone faster than so many other 450cc bikes as well.
What an amazing job for Reed Taylor. He's moved his way up to fourth place now. That was a lapped rider that was in the way. I was trying to figure out what was going on. He moved nicely out of the way for us, but Matt Moss now has moved his way up into the head of the pack, and there is all kinds of drama.
I think Nico Koch got passed in by Reed Taylor and Matt Moss as well. Matt Moss is currently leading this race for the Big Rock Motorsport team, and Charles Lefrancois from Moines Racing is second. This is interesting. Moines Racing really getting a ton of points throughout this weekend, and now the front of the 225cc Kawasaki, but not 225cc, 225 numbered bike behind him. He's going to be earning a ton of points, but behind him, the Chaumas music should be playing, because Jordi Tixier is right on his tail, and when you see Jordi Tixier behind you, there has to be panic, even though you're someone as good as Charlotte Frost, haven't you?
Yes, I apologise there. I called Charles Lefrancois, a lapped rider there. He wasn't coming up on our timing screen, and then all of a sudden he has. I thought he got caught up in that first turn pile-up. My apologies. But Jordi Tixier now is on an absolute charge on board the BB Racing Honda machine, and he has slotted back. Oh, we've had riders go down in that left-hander coming across the start straight.
Jacques Gunnavarna and Rukved Bargunje collecting each other at the end of the rhythm section. So that's unfortunate for both these Asian riders who have been phenomenal so far. Another rider down would have to be Gunnavarna again. Something's really going wrong for the Sri Lankan rider who was the highest bid one in the entire championship. He has got such an incredible CV, but unfortunately, sometimes it's just not your night.
Okay, so Matt Moss has company in the form of the former World MXGP champion, Jordi Tixier, on board the BB Honda racing machine. He is all over the back of the number 102 Kawasaki from Big Rock. A little bit of a dab at the front wheel there, and Matt Moss didn't realise he had company.
And finally we get to see these two all-stars, two legends of the sport race against each other. Tixier has a better run. He's on the inside of Matt Moss as we go through the finish up, and he has the lead indeed. Jordi Tixier is an all-star expert. He's leading the race, but Matt Moss sends one on the inside with commitment. That was a bold one.
Yes, and he put a little bit of extra on it. Oh my God, what a battle here. Moss up the inside. Oh, and the front brake got tagged there, and Matt went down so fast. That was an instant stop.
It's all bumping up here. Matt Moss is down from second place.
Well, first of all, did we just see Jordi Tixier off the side of the jump? How did he even stay on the track? And then a look over the shoulder and a bit of a shake of the head. Now watch Tixier set this up. Goes to the inside and makes the pass. And now Matt Moss just tries to find some real estate here. Watch the front brake, boom, and stops that bike instantly. That was a gymnastics move over. He landed hard on his back.
Those stop blocks are really, really tough. And Matt Moss now, unfortunately, down and out. And this matters. This seriously matters, because Matt Moss, who has won one race and got one podium today, will barely be scoring any points in this race. He's currently P6, and that is a good result nonetheless. But Big Rock Motorsport will be losing a ton of time. However, what they lose through Matt Moss is what they gain through Reed Taylor. The 250cc rider is third.
I'm going to say I called it. I called it third.
Unbelievable. For context, the 250cc bikes obviously far slower than the 450cc ones on the main straight. However, Reed Taylor is currently ahead of 3 other 450cc bikes.
Now, Samil, can I just say, it is not over yet. He is 0.5 of a second behind Charles Lefrancois. There is still plenty of racing still to go.
And right now we are seeing Reed Taylor trying to get past Anderson Guadaro, who we can confirm is a lap rider. So this should not be a major tussle. However, Reed Taylor has his eyes firmly set on Charles Lefrancois in second.
So he has passed him already. He is up into second place now. I want to watch these times and see how he compares to Jordi Tixier. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 250 in second place. Just to give you a little bit of perspective here, the amount of horsepower that these 250s have is so small compared to the 450s. What an amazing ride. What a display we are seeing from this young Australian kid.
It clearly proves that you don't need horsepower to win. You need a lot of guts and some pure riding talent. Well, you do need some horsepower as well, to be honest, but this is something that Reed Taylor possesses in excess. Guts aplenty, technique aplenty, and a calm mind, well, that you can see, because in his earlier moto, he crashed in the middle of the race, but he got back up immediately and ended up winning that race by 4.5 seconds. That's the kind of person Reed Taylor is. He's like a punching bag. You drop him down, he get back up almost immediately and be like, surprise, I'm right here.
And just when we thought that the BB Racing and the Big Rock Motorsports challenge or the head-to-head rivalry between these two teams couldn't get any hotter, it's just going to get hotter once again. Jordi Tixier and Matt Moss come together, and it's just heated up once again.
We have our new Mumbai Indians versus CSK right now in this championship. BB Racing versus Big Rock Motorsport. They will keep on fighting until the very end. And we've got to say that was a bit of a tricky one for Matt Moss, because let's be honest, it's kind of hectic.
Because Matt Moss back up to 4th place. Like, this is just crazy, incredible stuff. His lap time, he did a 37.5 that last time around. Can he make his way up to 3rd place?
Now, of course, one great boxer who, at the moment in time, I don't remember who, but one great boxer once said, it's not about the plan you have before the punch, it's what happens after the punch that determines how good of a fighter you are. I'm paraphrasing, I know, but that's essentially what the spirit of the goal is, and that's essentially what it should be for Matt Moss, who got punched down twice. He fell out of his first moto, got a podium. Fell out of this one, is almost on the way to getting another podium. Mr. Resilience, Matt Moss he is.
And he is only about 1.5 seconds off the back of Charles Lefrancois, and if he can pass Lefrancois, that will pop him up into 3rd place in this race behind his teammate on board the 250, and what a moment that will be for the two very, very close friends, both Reed Taylor and his mentor, Matt Moss. The 2-lap board has come up. So we've got about 1.5 laps for Matt Moss to get past Lefrancois.
And he could do that almost immediately. Sends one on the inside. That doesn't quite work out. Matt Moss, past the rhythm section, has another couple of chances to get past Charles Lefrancois. He's clipped a tough block. That's a bit of a tricky one. But Charles Lefrancois, of the number 225 move in this racing, looks excellent on the corners. His run is incredible. He's going to make it hard for Matt Moss to get another podium. But what a story as we come across the final lap of this race. Reed Taylor aboard a 250cc bike could get a podium ahead of 4 other 450s.
Oh, he is trying everything he can. I'm trying to think of where the next passing opportunity is going to come. Lefrancois almost comes together with a left rider, and Matt Moss just off the side of the track, taking Bunting with him. Can he set something up here? We come back now and have a look. The jersey is just, the sleeve is torn on the side of Tixier, but it's not going to matter as he comes across and wins the All-Stars here at Ahmedabad for round 2. What an amazing ride. We'll try to pick up, I believe it will be 2nd place for Reed Taylor.
It is indeed Johnny Tixier. Oh, there are some words between Matt Moss and Johnny Tixier. The action is getting heated. BB Racing versus Big Rock. This battle keeps on getting hotter and hotter and hotter, not just by the day, but by the race. Tempers flying between Matt Moss and Johnny Tixier as Johnny Tixier got the win, but Moss clearly unhappy with the move that Tixier made that caused Matt Moss to fall down and lose that big win in the All-Star race. His sleeve is torn apart, but he's got a big win, and now he's got to face the brunt of Matt Moss's aggression.
Yeah, he is certainly not happy at the moment, without a doubt. They're having words, they're pointing. He's talking about what happened on the track and how he wasn't happy. And I guess Jordy Tixier is trying to respond and tell his side of the story of what he believes happened.
Nobody's listening at this moment in time, though. Nobody is listening.
Well, I think a lot of people are watching, though, as we see the replay here. Let's watch it get set up. Matt Moss up the inside. Very nice, forceful, aggressive, and has a look at the shoulder with a little bit of a shake of the head, and then boom, Tixier up the inside here, does lots, and then there is just not enough room here. Moss, that front brake grabbed and boom, straight over and onto his back. I can't believe he was even able to get back up as this dispute continues.
I don't know what it's all about. Maybe Matt Moss is saying, buddy, you didn't leave enough space for me. Maybe that could be his argument, and that's what they're talking about potentially. And Tixier trying his best. Tixier is trying his best to calm Matt Moss down, but are you supposed to leave that sort of space heading into a corner?
Have a look at the smoke coming off Jordy Tixier's bike. I mean, it's just done a full race, and he's stopped now, and I believe coolant's just going to be spat out everywhere. So
I don't think that's from the bike. That's from the rider himself as well. He is steaming hot, trying to just manage the tempers. It may as well be from his head and may as well be from Matt Moss's head, because both of them are so angry.
Well, the way these bikes work, they need air to be coming through the radiator to be able to cool them down. And when you've just done such a crazy race like this, and we've got all kinds of shenanigans going on at the moment, I would dearly love Sagarika to be able to get in there and get that microphone in someone's face, and so we can perhaps find out what they have to say.
Hopefully Matt Moss as well, because we'd love to hear both sides of the story. And Johnny Tixier telling everyone, hey, it's not my fault. I got my sleeve torn off as well in the middle of this battle. But Lee, what really happened there? In the entire context of the championship, this could be huge because Big Rock have lost a ton of points.
Yeah, look, as we see Jordy Tixier starting to make his way over now, it was a back and forward battle. It all started from Tixier off the right-hand side of the triple. He literally took off about halfway up the takeoff ramp. I don't know how he managed to do that jump. So that was an interesting point of view to be able to see as we watch once again here Charles Lefrancois, and there we see Matt Moss. So Moss wasn't quite able to be able to make that pass.
The story might be about Matt Moss.
So this is I would love to see that again. Oh, have a look at the flip and landing on the back. But if we could see that again just for a second, what that did is that showed the gap coming into the corner. And that was an amazing view. And that's the first that we've been able to see that.
Well, we'll get to that replay very shortly, but the story might be about Jordy Tixier winning and crashing with Matt Moss. However, a shout out to Reed Taylor as well, finishing second on a 250cc bike, and also to Charles Lefrancois, who's got a great podium for the Mohites Racing team. Incredible results for all these riders. And now, let's hear from Jordy Tixier in a short bit. This interview is going to be fun. Jordy Tixier standing by with Sagarika.
After that difficult start, finally, Jordy Tixier can smile away. Jordy, but right now we see a torn t-shirt here. What exactly went down there? You and Matt Moss right during the race, the battle right there.
I was thinking it was a good moto when he arrived super pissed on me. So, okay, he said I touched his front wheel in the hair on the finish jump. If it's for this, I'm sorry, mate. You know, I'm not like this, and you know it. You know, then after that, he pushed me super hard in 2 corners. And I just closed the door pretty hard, and he hit my shirt. That's why I got scratched. So I maybe touched him, but he also touched me. So it's a game time. You know, I crashed in the first moto with Soup. He crashed this time, so it can also happen. So I'm sorry for that. You know, for me, I just raced. You know, I had a bad start, and on 8 minutes, I have no choice to try to be aggressive but safe for everyone. So I think I was. This is part of racing. I just want to say thank you to my dad, who make a really good job between the 2 motos, you know, because the bike was really destroyed. Thanks to BB Racing Team. I think we came here to win. We didn't win. We only win the last moto, but this is game time. As I say, it's race time. So thanks to everyone around me. You know, I really appreciate that job. We finish the weekend with a win. So positive mind, and let's go to Delhi.
Absolutely positive mind. We like seeing that smile on you. We understand all the emotions that's going through. You want to use this podium to speak to Cedric and Moss and kind of speak to them right now on this platform?
Yeah, actually, you know, it doesn't matter to speak or not. I think we already talk. I have been sorry for the 2 move. I hope they accept it.
Well, it's a battle out here, and we understand completely about how you go about the race. But tell us about your dad is here. What would you like to tell him?
I would like to say a huge thanks, Daddy. You know, he's there since the first time, since the first day behind me. You know, we achieve a lot of things together. It's a lot of emotion, you know, speaking about this, because 3 years old, he was already behind my back, and the dream to become world champion what time came true when we were a kid. So 2010, I became junior world champion, MX2 world champion. I won the nation with Team France, so 3 times world champion. If you would say 1 time to me, you're gonna be world champion, it just would be just like, no, that's not possible. And we did it, so that's why I can also say thank you. You know, with a dad, you always have some up and down. That's normal, but at the end, it works, I guess. So people can say what they want about it. Like, we hear a lot of bad things about this.
Well, this is a very special moment.
Yeah.
We were speaking about your dad, and he's right here. What a beautiful moment right here. How proud are you of the boy? He's been crowned the king. Okay, he doesn't speak English, but still in action. What would you like to tell him?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. And I think you want to thank me also. I don't know.
No, that's very sweet. Now, you've been crowned the King of Pune. What do you think about that? Now, you've also finished it off in Ahmedabad weight style. How do you feel about how people are responding to you?
Yeah, it feels amazing. You know, after Pune, I got 100 on message on my social media. It was super awesome. I can't answer to everyone. I just try to make it, but it's difficult to make it. But I just want to say huge thanks to everyone around, you know. You guys in India are just awesome. So I hope you enjoy again the show tonight, and I hope to see you in Delhi.
Well, absolutely. See you in the next round. Well done, and thank you so much for joining us on this show. Well, that was Jordi, All-Stars race. He goes on to win this particular race. Well, there has been non-stop action here in Ahmedabad on round 2 of SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League, and we've had some non-stop action here. We've seen in the last round here, we also have some words here between Jordi and Moss. All right, let me just get in here. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but Moss, come on.
Yeah, for him, he's saying sorry. I accept his apology, but man, that race for me, it's irrelevant. We want to get our team points. You don't have to win that race. It doesn't go to a championship point. So I was going to let him pass. I already put 2 motos in. He didn't race the first race, so he had a little bit more energy. And man, I was happy to get second. I seen Reed was in third, but then he whipped it into me and hit my front wheel in the air. It's uncalled for. One accident, but then you have two conflicts in one day. It just doesn't add up, man. It just, you know what I mean? I don't like beef. I was letting him pass, but when he did that, then I tried to take him out. So yeah, probably shouldn't have reacted the way I did, but. Man,
right, there've been arguments here saying all's fair in love and war. It's war right here. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, racing's racing. If we wanted a battle, but I wasn't in that for a battle. I was happy to come second. You know, we have the bigger picture. Big Rock want to win the championship in the team championship, and technically I'm winning the championship in our class. So I didn't need that fight him. And when he hit my front wheel in the air off the finish line, it just. You know, it sort of triggered something in me, but it's just uncalled for. It's just we don't.
What do you think he could have done differently?
Just jump straight and pass me. He was clearly a little bit faster, and it just is what it is. It just, man, 2 incidents in one day. It just doesn't quite add up.
Matt, but on the positive side, you've had a great win today. Your guy, Reed Taylor, who you've been mentoring, he's come in second place in this All-Stars race with a 250cc bike with less power. What do you have to say about that? How proud are you of him?
Yeah, man, he had, I think, 2 or 3 years off the bike, didn't race, and he's only been in competition now probably 2.5 years. So he's a rising star with a big future. It just shows then coming second. I tried to do everything I can to get third in that last one, but just, you know, didn't play off. But Matt, hats off to the team. Our team are doing everything for us, and thanks to the crowd, the Indian fans, man. I love it here. The Indian guys, you've treated us well, so thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, we really hope you guys sort it out because we really love what you guys are doing here. Thank you so much for chatting with us and giving us an insight. Thank you. Over to you, Combs.
Now, I'm going to admit it, Sunil, I got it wrong. I said Reed Taylor was going to get third. He got second.
You show off.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to have just a little bit of a flex. Let's take a look here at the All-Stars replay. And into turn 1, and we had carnage once again with those tough blocks. They just went flying everywhere.
And then eventually, we saw Matt Moss start his chase for a big, big win. He got past Charles Lefrancois very, very well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the fun began. Because soon, coming in the back would be Jordi Tixier.
Tixier was on a charge on board the BBR racing machine, Honda 450. And he set off after Matt Moss. And he was on a mission.
So what happens next? We saw Jordi Tixier and Matt Moss duke it out in one of the most heated battle of the entire series. There's Matt Moss making that big sin, and then...
So I think what we saw was a shake of the head there before all of this happened, with what Matt said was an unnecessary whip of the back wheel that almost hit Matt Moss's front wheel on the finish line. Now, we didn't manage to catch that. That's the result that we saw from Matt Moss shaking his head.
And Matt Moss might have had a crash and eventually finished 4th, but his protege, Reed Taylor, aboard that number 86 Big Rock 250cc bike, was able to get P2, and Mossy tried hard. He fought back. He fell back to P6, tried really hard to come back, eventually only P4. But Jordy Tixier, who was down and out in Moto 1, has got P2 in his class and the big win in the All-Star category with a broken sleeve, but not with a broken heart. Tixier wins for BB Racing.
I think the All-Stars was all about Jordy Tixier, but overall the 450 star for the day was Matt Moss and Big Rock Racing. But I think the star of the league so far has been Reed Taylor. He is our standout when you consider all the 250, all the 450 riders. Reed Taylor comes to mind straight away.
Okay, let's tell you something very, very interesting right here. Can you guess the ages of all the people on this current picture? We see Charles Lefrancois taking a big, big podium for Mohitez Racing as he gets an incredible result for that team who is climbing up the order in their category. But let's talk about Reed Taylor. Charles Lefrancois is 33. Jordy Tixier of P1 is 31. Reed Taylor is 20 on a 250cc bike in the All-Star race. He's second. You were right, Lee. You absolutely nailed it. This kid is special. Everyone should sit up and take notice.
You could see it in his eyes. He had the eye of the tiger today and he came out on fire. What an amazing job it was.
And that is an incredible result for Jordy Tixier. Not quite the best start in his category, but he ends the night with a big win. And at the end, the fight between Big Rock Motorsport and BB Racing continues. Join us for the next round in a couple of weeks in Delhi, folks. Thank you, everyone, on behalf of the entire crew. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.